was.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eclipse Night on Midnight. Treese, my buddy's here. I don't know where Joe is. Oh, wait, Joe's in the background. Here she comes. Joe Bob's here from the middle of somewhere in winter. And we're joined by Caro and Tara from Yarn Chicken and Shit and Amy from Two Sisters and Some Yarn. And welcome, everybody. I hope you all survived the eclipse. There were no damages, no injuries, no cows that ran away. None of that.
Wait, who's that chick down there? Who is that? I don't know. Who are you? With your little
the rapture didn't get her.
No, it doesn't look like it.
We knew that wasn't gonna happen.
And Joe Bob, you look cold.
Yeah, it's winter's coming. Jeez willikers, winter's coming. I don't like it. Hello, everybody. Did you miss me?
Yeah. Of course. Welcome back, Joe Bob.
I was thinking last night, I don't think we've ever been apart for 3 weeks before. This is the longest that we haven't had a sit-down, chit-chat, gossip, knit together. It's been too long. All these years, we've always stayed in touch at least every week or every second week.
Yeah. Life got in the way.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you get your daughter and...
You're not in your office.
No, I'm in this spacious motel room, so I'm not sure if you can hear me or if it's just echoing out the windows.
No,
she's
not
okay.
Actually,
she's not houseless.
No, she just has a mobile office.
Unhomed.
I need all your help to write a review for the last motel I stayed in too. Do you know what? I'm the queen of reviews. I am, like Amazon reviews. I get right in there and I, push up little companies. But I tell you what, I had a motel stay I'm not happy about, so I want your help because the only title I can think of is disappointing. And I want to know what number you'd give them out of 10 when I tell you my story later.
Oh, I'm good at crushing feelings, so I'll write it for you.
Yeah, Amy's good at that.
And here's the kicker. The lady at reception was so lovely. She was so lovely until she gave me a room I didn't book. And I couldn't be asked. I just went in the room and went, this is not the room I booked. And Millie's like, don't, Mum, don't.
That's how my kids are.
I had the worst night's sleep. I felt really claustrophobic in this tiny, tiny room that I did not book. And they're going to hear about it in the reviews. I thought I could go to the counter in the morning to reception and say, hey, thank you for the bed that felt like I was sleeping on a riverbank full of pebbles. And thanks for this shitty, tiny little room where I couldn't breathe because I felt so claustrophobic and suffocated. And then I thought, what's the point in that? That's not going to do anything. I need to write an honest review. So the next mum down the line goes, oh, fuck that. I'm not staying there. That will hurt them more for giving me the wrong room.
Yep.
And I'm not cancelling them. I'm not being rude about them. As I said, lady was lovely. So, yeah, Ames, I need your help.
I got
Look, I'm ready to give them 5 out of 10. I'm ready to give them a low review for a motel. A 5 is a killer. But the dirt, oh, my God. I'm laying in bed and I look up and what alerts me to the dirt is the cobwebs on either side of the television. And then I looked. And it was disgusting. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. And then under my bed, come out the shower, and Millie goes, look under your bed. Whoa, I wouldn't have slept in that bed if I had a rug that was under it. Anyway, I'm in a lovely room. I'm in a lovely, cozy, comfy, old, tired, worn-out room, but I've got room. I've even got room to block. I don't know if you can see. Should I show you? Hang on, where am I?
Just blocking all her knits in the hotel room.
I've got room to block knits. There you go. There you go. There's something on the counter. You can't see it. It's a surprise.
That should be your new rating scale.
Yeah.
Can you block knits? Yeah.
How many knits
Have I got room to swing a cat? No, but I've got room to block a net, a 3-skein net. Caro, my darling, I am so sad that I missed you last week.
Don't worry, I'm here now. Yay.
Yay.
You are a beautiful lady. I really enjoyed listening to your anecdotes, your stories, all of your education and life experience. And you're a baby. It's amazing to me.
Oh, thank you. Is 40 a baby? I don't know.
You've had a very interesting life, and I love that you've joined us today. I hope to hear more stories if I shut up for
There
long
he
enough,
is.
says.
If you give me a topic, I can probably give you a story, but I have to warn you, about 60% of them start with, I was drunk in this place.
Oh, well, those are the best stories.
You're in
Joined
good
just at the right
company.
moment.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
I'm good. Are you?
Neil?
Good. I got questions on your shawl.
Oh dear. Oh God.
Oh, boy.
No, not that question. I just
I'm
don't want to
off.
make it.
Bye.
No. It's just one question before I start the second section.
Nanila.
I just want to confirm you only do the decrease at the front and not the increase at the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So what will happen? Oh, go on. Keep going.
But do you still do the GSR? Do you still start with the GSR in every row when you go back?
No, because you won't be doing that, will you? At the neck edge.
Okay, so you just knit that stitch?
Yeah. So what will happen when you get to the neck edge? It's going to get shorter and shorter each time. So each time you do a wedge, it's going to feel like you're missing a stitch each time, because you're going to be decreasing at one end but not increasing at the other.
Okay, so I just keep knitting even on the neck edge then.
Yeah.
I don't do a GSR. Okay, that's what I wanted to know before I started it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because see, I got this much done. I've got section 1 done.
Wow.
Oh,
It's not nearly as big as Annie's, and this is the small size. So
Annie gets a trophy.
buy yarn
Gotta make
accordingly.
We have all decided that all sizes matter. Remember, it's okay.
That's right. That's right.
Annie
And this is going to be plenty big.
I've started
hope
doing a
Tabitha-
crochet version.
Yay!
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't got very far with it, so there's not
Sarah
much to
popped
show.
up. I can see.
Ain't Kara paying attention to that one.
But, well, there's two.
yeah.
I'm doing two. So this is don't look at my dirty hands because I haven't washed them.
You filthy man.
Yeah. So this is Tunisian crochet.
Oh man.
Okay.
But I'm
I'm still
also
listening.
doing
But wait, there's more.
but I've hardly got anywhere on this, and I've got to rip it back because but I'm doing an ordinary crochet version, which is like about as far as an I cord at the moment.
You mean like with single crochet? Is that what you define ordinary crochet as?
Kind of, but it's going to be something that I saw as I started it. I saw a video of somebody else doing a slip stitch, but it had a yarn over in it. Now, when I describe it, it's going to sound like a half double, but it isn't. It was a yarn over with a slip stitch, and it really looked good. So that's what I'm going to try with this version. But these will take me forever. I don't know when they'll get done.
We'll just do 1 or 2 wedges so people see how it works.
Yeah, the Tunisian one works really well, like really well. If I show you, because you don't really have to do short rows. Well, you do. Well, how can I show you? I don't know whether you'll see it because there's not much to see. Can you see where that little blip is? There. That's one of the short rows.
Yeah.
So I don't know how noticeable that'll be. Obviously, because I'm using an ecru or what do you call it? A natural. It's probably showing more. If it was black, I don't think you'd see it. But Tunisian's really easy, by the way.
Yes.
Carol, have you done any Tunisian crochet yet?
Have I done what?
Tunisian crochet yet?
I'm sorry, I hear crochet and then the rest of it.
It's called Tunisian. You use a crochet hook that has a stopper on the end, and it's like instead of just going one way for a row, you go one way and back for a row.
Yeah.
I have not done that
It's
yet.
like
No.
It's fun to do.
It's like a proper knitting needle with a crochet hook at one end,
Yeah.
a straight needle.
No, I have not done that.
needle.
Yeah. The fabric is more closer to knitting than it is
Yeah.
crochet.
That's why
I had bought it. I bought it in anticipation that at some point I would learn how to use them. I haven't gotten there yet. So
Okay.
but don't
It might be
worry.
some-
I bought more yarn that I don't need.
So it's a
Oh,
crochet hook with a cable on the end.
yarn's not buying about needing. Buying yarn is about wanting.
Fixed.
Okay.
Mine's all fixed, like a normal
Mine-
knitting needle with a spot
Yeah.
at the end.
Mhm.
I have some of those too, the older ones.
Yeah.
mostly because
Oh
I'm
my
just
goodness.
I'm not good at Tunisian long enough to need that cable. So if I've got to do more than the length of the regular needle, like I'm out.
Actually, last time I saw you, I told you I was going to go and see the lady at the Royal Easter Show. Did I tell you Millie won a ribbon? Millie won. Okay, last time I saw you, I was in the car park at Zambreros and Macca's, and we drove down and spent 3 days at the Royal. And Millie judged merino fleece, and she got chosen to speak. They do a summary at the end, but she didn't win anything. And then the next judging she did the same day was actually merino sheep, and they line up 4 ewes and then 4 rams in their full fleece, right? Like they were shorn straight afterwards. And these 23 kids went out there, and young adults, went out and judged them. And Millie got reserve champion for the merino sheep judging for the rams and the ewes. And she was the only female out of the awards.
Awesome.
Yeah, she got
Awesome.
second. So she won a big ass ribbon. And the poor young guy who won, he was lovely, and he was in tears. He was so overwhelmed by emotion. It was amazing. And I went to visit the lady who, do you remember this? I can't stop bragging about the shawl. It's not me, it's the design, the Spring Bloom by Woollenberry. You know my favourite, this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Turn it around the right way, might help, might look a bit nicer. Hang on. Yeah, this way. You know this lovely shawl, the funky green with sari silk in it. I took this down and I went and showed the lady who's now, I know her name is Kerry, and she lives up where Charlie goes to uni. So we will be seeing each other.
Ooh.
And she had the same, and I let her know very politely that the yellow actually washed out of that merino with the green and yellow, and it's mostly green because look at the difference. She was actually, it looks the same, see, and it's not. This one's washed out. This one's got more yellow and more sari silk. On her cones there by her spinning wheel at the show, she had the same similar colour. And I felt really bad, no pressure on a Saturday to say, I'll be back on Tuesday. You can buy that. She'd only had the one ply on the cones and was doing the second colour, which was the yellow merino, to mix with this. And idiot me says, I'll be back on Tuesday. How many skeins do you think that'll make up? 2 coins, 2 skeins? And then I come back on the Tuesday and I said, Kerry, I did not mean that you had to have this ready and washed and flapped and
Treadle
everything.
faster.
No, I'm happy to get your details and pay for it and have it mailed to me. And this darling lady had it all ready to go on Wednesday for me.
Wow.
Oh,
And I
wow.
said to her, so it smells like the arse end of a sheep, because I said to her, please don't, wash it. She lives 5 hours away, and I don't know if she was staying in a motel or at a friend's place, because they were there every day from like 8:30 till 4:30, spinning all day long. Imagine that for 12 days in a row. I said to her, don't wash it. I will be happy to wash it and hang it and thwack it. And then she told me, oh, no, don't thwack it. Everyone's got different rules. Don't thwack it and don't put any weight on it when it's drying. So I'm just going to wash it and hang it off a coat hanger on the, in the breeze and hope it. But look at those vibrant sort of yellow green and then all the sari silk. Look, Amy.
I see. I'm not driving.
So this is merino silk and sari silk, and I got about, I think all up, I got nearly, or not just shy of 300 grams. So there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
For 300 grams. So that was one of my purchases because, and You know what? I'll die if she has the same colour. I said to her I might make a Hohe simple summer sweater and do stripes and do something really different. I don't know, but I had to buy it.
That would be cool.
And then this one, it gives me all the I got all the hand spun vibes. This one's got a bit of glitter in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can see that there, a bit of glitz. This one was just $35 and it was 96 grams and 280 meters. So yeah, so it's I'm pretty happy with that for $35, cheaper than a hand dyed skein of yarn, and it's all different colors. Looks like all different ends of something else, and she's just gone and plied it all together. And then this little one is the ends. She did tell me that, actually. So I only got 4 skeins. This one's tiny. It's only 40 grams, less than a ball. This one I loved because it was all the different ends that she had been. There's a little bit of glitter. There's other colours that she had been spinning. And she just put, I don't know, all the odds and ends that didn't get plied. She just plied them up and put them all together. So it's only 40 grams. It's less than 100 metres. But I thought that would make a really pretty hat because I love these different colours all thrown in there. I wish I could spin like this instead
I
of
love
my art
hand spun yarn.
Yeah, when are you
I
going to
love
make
it,
your?
especially the
When
different
are you going to
colours.
make your hat?
I think this will be a nice hat. I think it'll be really interesting as a hat, but it won't be a big slouchy hat. It'll only just maybe be a little beanie. Or should I knit these mitts that I'm supposed to be knitting this winter? I don't know.
I thought you were going to knit a hat out of your hand spun.
Yeah, I am, but hang on. I am.
Your
but
art
in the
yarn.
meantime, I love this. What are you guys knitting on? Look at this. Look at this. Is Lynn in the chat? Because, oh, my God, I'm in love. Look at this. This is my muscle burr. Look at the colours. And then
That's really pretty.
I did the small adult size on the small needles, but I did the adult length, the biggest length. Look at this, guys. Amy, look at my hat. I love these colours, and I love the way this feels and fits. This is amazing, Lynn. Look at these cardinal colours. Amaze balls. I enjoyed it so much. I need another one. Look, what am I doing? Look, this grey one here. I did this grey.
You're making hats.
Yeah, but look at this, Caro. Look, ready?
Yes.
1 hat. 2 hats.
I've got to try
Look
that.
at that.
I've never
And
made that.
my mum says I'm not a pink girl. Well, Mum, I think we could take a poll. I think this hat looks bloody amazing. And if I'm not a pink girl, I can just fold it, and that's hat number 3 with the grey. Or to really piss Mum off, if I don't want to wear the whole pink, as we do, I could do the pink brim and be a half a pink girl.
That's so cute.
I think you look great.
I love it. I originally made this with someone else, and now we won't say who it was for because I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. And then I made this. Look, this is my FOs. You haven't seen me for 3 weeks. I made a cable hat. Hat. Cable. Yeah, I made this one for Charlie, but I haven't washed it yet and blocked it. She wanted slouchy, and I hate cables, and I just got bored. So I just did a set of cables there and made sure my crown was really pretty with another lot of cables there. And then I cast off because it was the end of the ball almost. I should have gone on to the second ball and made it slouchy. It's super soft. This is the wool she chose at the old, like Joanne's at the Spotlight. Last thing, are you ready? Oh, I'm wondering, asking for a friend, is it pretentious to keep your tags on your shawl if it says made in Italy because you want going past you on a galloping horse, nobody knows. Why am I hesitant to cut the tag off my beautiful shawl because it just says made in Italy?
I don't
know.
I know some people just don't like tags.
It could be from the the dollar store for anybody, for anybody knows. Here we go, my wall kig. I finished it. Love.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
You've been busy.
I
He's so
love
big.
it.
Neil,
How
what are you
cool
up
is
to?
that?
Are you falling asleep with your kitty cat over there?
Yeah.
It's like evil Santa with the kitty cat.
I'm trying to
Aw.
keep his backside off the screen.
That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing while I've been missing you. That's it. That's all my knitting for the last 3 weeks.
Aw. Therese, what are
Who
you
else has
doing?
been knitting? Show me your knits.
Oh my
Which one is that, Neil? Is that North Star?
This is North Star, yeah.
North Star.
Show
I
me
have
your knits. I've knit
I've
so
been,
much.
I have an
cute.
almost finished object. Oh, go ahead. Let me see.
Baby blanket.
That's pretty.
Ooh,
Oh.
You're
Cute.
churning those out, aren't you, Amy?
I'm trying.
Mhm.
The
That's
baby's
great.
getting born.
Gotta use
That's
all
not
Denise's
girl
yarn.
stuff. Like I
Super
needed
pretty,
more stuff.
huh?
Now I have no girl blankets. I don't know where to go. Like literally, they go in spurts. A bunch of boys and a bunch of girls. So weird.
it's weird.
So all the babies.
What?
So yeah,
So what you
Yeah.
got, Therese?
I'm stalling.
I have an almost finished object. Hang on, I got it.
An AFO.
An AFO. Yes. Hang on.
I'm almost
it's-
dolls, so finally. I only have 2 more arms to do on the dolls, and they're closed, and then I'll be done.
oh, nice.
Yay.
Nice.
God.
Yay.
What
I
about the
hope so.
hair?
Well, that's just. I think she just. Like it's loose yarn. She just braided.
Oh,
Like I
Okay.
think she attached it to the head, really long strands, and then she just braided it
Mm.
oh,
Okay.
that's cool.
because it's just
All right.
a straight yarn.
Okay, I have. Okay, at this point, it's an IKEA sweater because it needs to be put together. It's the
Did it come on Big Blue?
Briar cardigan by. I wrote it down for the frills. And let's see if we can. Okay, here's the front with the back. Blah 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 blah.
Black?
Navy blue,
Oh, I was about to say
dark
damn.
navy. No. Um,
Did you cast? When did you cast
And
this
here's
one on?
sleeves.
Therese?
March 30th.
Oh.
That's crochet, right?
It's crochet. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because if you knit it that fast, I would be very.
I'm not. No. Sleeves,
Bush.
I'm still impressed she crocheted that.
I know.
pocketses.
Who's that for?
So now I just got to seam it all together and then do like you do the neckline. That's it.
It's cute.
Just in time
Who's
for
that?
70 degrees tomorrow.
It's
Is
a
that for
cute
you?
pattern. It's a cute little
Show
pattern.
me. Oh wow!
It's a very cute pattern. Yeah.
very cute.
It's just a basic cardigan. It's all half double crochet.
Size XL to 3XL.
Mhm. I probably would have had it done quicker actually, but this yarn is it's splitty.
Oh.
Splitty as a mofo.
Is that the recycled yarn?
Respun? No, respun.
The Knit Picks
Which
one?
okay, it's respun. It's Line Brand respun,
Oh, the
recycled.
Lion Brand one.
Yeah. Which okay, I get it. You want to recycle. You want to be okay. That's fine. That's great. You know,
It's been through some
But-
stuff.
do a quality product, please, because
Oh.
this stuff like splits almost every stitch. It is so annoying.
Oh.
Therese,
I
what is
have
your
a
ply?
bunch of it. I'm
Is
sorry.
it thick? What ply is it?
It's
Is it
a
thick?
worsted weight. It's a worsted weight.
Oh, okay.
I said,
but
Um,
it's splitty.
Hey,
It's a
boo,
four weight. It's okay. I hope it softens up a little bit when I wash it and throw it in the dryer. because
Yeah.
it's a little, I don't know, it's not scratchy, it's just a
It's
little
recycled.
weird. But it's recycled, exactly. It was cheap. Okay. It's cheap.
Okay.
So I have more of it, so I don't know if I'm gonna make hats for David or I don't know what, but
Tara, what are you working on?
I am working on this week's beanie. For those of you who don't know, I make one beanie a week to donate to my church to go give to families in need. So I just finished the crown. So now I'm gonna see how quickly I can make this hat because I have yarn that I want to play with and I can't do it until this is done. So
Did you finish the shawl? Did you finish the shawl you were working on?
no, that's a long-term project.
Oh.
It's like, I don't know how many meters it is. I think it's like 1,500 meters. I'm going to be at it for a while. Yeah, like it's not going to be like a little shoulder shawl that's like dainty. It's going to be like this robe that I like, kind of like dramatically make swishy sounds with.
You storm through the office with
a
it.
cloak. Yes.
Yes.
You come back in the room. Another thing.
Yeah. How dare you file that wrong? I leave.
Be very dramatic.
Yeah.
Tara, what's you working on?
I am working on my ugly cat shawl.
Yay! Oh, you're doing a different size, aren't you? You did you start over?
I opted for the small. Well, I ripped
That's
it
what
back,
I'm
Mm-hmm.
but I counted the I-cord stitches because there was no way in hell I was going to redo the I-cord.
Good plan.
Not in black, anyway.
No.
Is this a second or a third attempt, or is this your first go?
This is my second attempt.
Your second attempt.
Only
not
because
too
she's changing the size.
Yeah. I could have kept going if I wanted to, but
Mm-hmm.
like
You could
even
have
the small is a good size.
You mean you don't want? It was Therese. Was that navy color?
Yes.
Somebody asked in
Yes.
chat.
Yes, it's I'm sorry, I can't see chat. Yeah, it's deep navy, I think it's called.
Tara didn't want one the size of
denim.
Annie's and Tabitha's.
No. But I still have like a million ends to weave in. But I finished my
Oh,
Yahtzee
it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Phone the police.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so
Violence
pretty.
is violence.
We are a pro pinwheel podcast.
I love
Pinwheels
pinwheels.
on shawls are allowed.
Pinwheels.
It's kind of cool, Tara. When you
You're
put it
thinking.
on, kind of looks like like lines. It looks different when you put it on.
Yeah, it's
blocks.
such a pretty shawl.
You know.
It is.
That's,
I just did not have the mental energy to keep going on it because I was just like, I'm not enjoying it, and I'd rather spend my time doing other stuff.
man, if you had the opportunity, you could wear it like that, where nobody knows what it is, and you could put your, it could be like a woke knitting conference, and the people like, oh, I love your shawl. Where'd you get it? Then you rip it off dramatically, and you're like, look at it.
Except most people
Are
would
you
probably be like,
triggered by my
oh, that's a
shawl?
pretty pinwheel.
Yes, what a pretty pinwheel. My pinwheel shawl. Oh well. I'm glad you finished it. It's lovely. But I will never make one because I will never purchase another pattern again from my friend.
Well, you probably have enough patterns from him to keep you busy for a very long time.
For a very long time, I do.
Does that mean you won't pressure me to make anytime soon?
I have plenty of patterns that you
come
can
on.
look up and you can purchase. I have plenty of Stephen West books and patterns. I have enough for all of us.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my privilege as an obsessive knitter. Oh, speaking of books, hang on a minute. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Oh, I did want to torture Neil with the fact. So my husband is on, he went to go see the eclipse. So he left Louisiana and drove through Mississippi, Arkansas, and kind of Tennessee Tennessee to
Yeah, because he
Missouri.
went through Memphis.
Yeah. So, but he went through Mississippi, and yeah, he didn't go through Arkansas. So Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee. What's above Mississippi?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, the way he
Tennessee.
went. Arkansas, the way Tara is. So yeah, so 4 states to go see the eclipse. So he left
And
at
cows.
6. He left
And
at
cows.
6 p.m. last Sunday night, and he got there at 1:45 a.m.
Wow.
And then he slept in the
thought
van
this-
and watched the eclipse, and now he's driving home.
What a nerd. Your husband is
And
such a
that's why
nerd.
That's why I'm not with him, because he slept in the back
Well-
of the van and drove it all. Like,
You know,
Like I
think
said,
of it-
that's what you think he was doing, Amy.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, I got his
He probably had a stopover in every state.
No,
I'm
he
joking.
made a
He
good time.
chose-
I was shocked he made it there that fast. Now on the way home, he's not making it as fast. He's
No.
He left at like I don't know,
Traffic.
3 something, and he left Missouri, and he's still in Tennessee. So he ain't getting as fast as he got up there.
Yeah.
No.
Was he impressed?
Oh
Yeah, what did he think?
He sent me a text afterwards, and he said he took a video. I haven't seen it yet, and he said that was the coolest thing I've ever seen, other than meeting you. He said afterwards.
Oh,
I was like, dude,
Nice.
good save. Good save.
Nice try to-
Wow. Getting married, having 2 kids.
yeah, don't worry
Yeah,
about
but what he's
Yeah.
saying there, Amy, is that you eclipsed his son when he met you.
Oh.
It all went dark.
he did deserve the dig at the Cowboys with that one.
I did. I gave him a dig
Yeah.
at the Cowboy.
it. So when he gets back, he'll have to walk around the kitchen singing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
I know.
Ugh.
He said it was really cool because he's never seen it before, and he's a total space nerd. So
So did you,
Wow.
who saw it where you are? Did any of you see it?
I did.
it was
There
fun.
wasn't much to see here because
I
where
didn't
I
bring
was,
my
there
glasses.
was
They're
only
here, too.
where I was.
Yeah,
There's
I just
only
walked out
40
my
or
back
50%
door.
coverage. So
Mhm. Yeah.
We would have had 80. Well, we had 83. It's not like we didn't have it, but we had 83% coverage. I just couldn't see it. The clouds were in the way.
We
There was
had
no rapture or anything,
I
no.
was okay.
not that I know of.
I took a nap.
or is it you're all not been chosen?
I guess find out.
What would you all do when the rapture
You're
comes?
young
What if it's just me and
See it
Joe?
next time. Yeah, we have to wait.
Oh,
I think
I'm
ours
not
the next one
Protestant,
is-
so I'm not
4
going to be
years.
raptured.
I don't
I'm
believe
going to be in hell with everyone else.
Tara's going to come visit me. I'll be there with the party toys.
My coworker, she always says, she's always like, I'm driving the bus. And she says the theme song will be like, is that song Highway to Hell? She's like, get in, bitches, we're going.
How funny. I bought 2 books this week. One just because I wanted to mock this pattern. That is a pathetic looking bunny. Thank you,
Oh,
Nikki.
wow.
Trump.
That's a bunny.
That
I thought
bunny's
that
been
was a
busy.
woman wearing a mask for a second. I was thinking, what kind of a knitting book is that?
Oh, that's a little
I
scary.
thought it was like a donkey. Is that bad?
Looks like
It's
it's
I
really
thought it
bad.
was too.
So
I thought
from
it
a
was too.
designer who's been around a long time, Nikki Trench Homemade Gifts. I was flicking through this and it was only $2 at the charity store. And I said to the guy at the
Yeah.
counter, I'm only buying this book to mock the bunny. It had a Santa, so it reminded me of Neil. Where is the Santa? Hang on.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh, God.
Look,
Oh, my.
he's got a good hand.
I
Why
think
is
there
the beard
should be a
crooked?
Santa knit along.
No,
Why
I-
is
Yeah.
the why is
I've got the
the
pack.
beard crooked?
Look
Well,
at his
might be
hand.
crooked.
You can only see like
He's like one
yeah,
eye is.
exactly.
So I
That's
bought
Santa
that
after he-
just to mock
That's
the bunny.
Santa after he's had a few.
He's
Yeah.
Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy Santa Claus.
He obviously had
Yeah,
his
what
back.
is this? 1981. I want to call out, this is 1981, and I'll show you the cover in a minute. I want to
Oh.
call out all those idiots who say that there was no diversity in knitting books and no diversity of the black community. No representation. Hello, 1981. I was flicking through this. Oh, look, not another one. Yes, diversity. There we go. I'm really, really sick. People have really short memories when it comes to the 80s and the 90s in knitting. Oh, there she is again. Oh, it's not like it's a token photo. No, it's just about every other bloody page. But we forget, don't we? We forget. And we have short memories because we're told what to think and we don't think for ourselves anymore. I bought this book because that was interesting. Oh, look, there's another photo. Oh, she's everywhere. She's everywhere. I really think it's important to point out people's very short memories because some of us knitters have been around long enough not to be brainwashed, not to be told lies. You're not going to get away with your lies with me. And this book, you'd be very interested, Neil, is by a former editor of Vogue. We all know who she is. You all know who she is. Ray Compton. See, so Ray Compton back in the 80s, everybody, editor for Vogue, was publishing books. Oh, look at the rainbow. Look at the rainbow. Be offended. Don't be triggered. It's actually a real rainbow in a farm scene. This book at the moment is on Amazon Australia for over $300.
What?
How ridiculous.
Wow.
I don't know. That picture is just so triggering because
Look,
people of
farm
color
animals.
are not
Yep.
allowed to go out
Yep.
into the country because it's oppressive.
Yep. And
Yeah,
look at
it's
the
like
sheep,
it's colonialism.
and your lamb chops. Be triggered. It's just something I think we need to keep saying no, and we need to keep calling out the lies. And this is a book that was published in 1981. Ray Compton, a Scottish woman who is a pretty prolific knitter, editor, publisher. You know, diversity all through this book. There's even, you know, the gay men photos if you want to get to that as well. I don't care. I don't know. Are you? Sue me if you're not. I don't know. You look it.
Look at that.
Hang on there. Give off the gaydar vibe.
Are we aiming to offend everybody with this episode? Yay, let's go.
Isn't that what we
Yeah, well, I waited 7 minutes because, I
You
was
can
so
try
upset
harder.
with my tights. I had to go look for them on Rumble the other night. It's a Gundam. Oh, my goodness. It's a Gundam. I have been watching him, listening to him, laughing my ass off. I put the headphones on and husband must think I'm on magic mushrooms or something because I am laughing my ass off as I fall asleep to It's a Gundam. It's official. I've told you all now. That's how I'm getting a good night's sleep these days. The guy tells the truth.
Yeah, it was one of the funniest FNTs I've ever seen.
I started to watch it and unfortunately I fell asleep, and when I woke up in the morning and went to look for it, YouTube had taken it down, but thanks to Rumble I got to rewatch the whole thing. Yeah, this guy I don't know what he looks like. He's animated. It's good. It's like the old Ravelry days. I don't know who you are. Your profile is a cartoon picture. He speaks his mind. He's very, very clever. He has a great memory for things going back to, or does a lot of research about things going back to the 80s and 90s, early 2000s. I really enjoy listening to him. So that is my favourite podcast at the moment. And it's not a knitting podcast, but it could be if enough of us get there. But there you go, Practical Knitting. What a great book. A little bit of history, and we all need to have a look back and start thinking for ourselves and stop being told what's actually happened, which is all lies. It's all so untrue that this diversity wasn't.
You just have to go back to the old videos on MTV back when they used to do videos. And they were all diverse, if you want to call it diverse. Yeah. We didn't even think that way. Everybody was in videos, and Michael Jackson's videos, it was blacks and whites and whatever. And
people were just people.
Who wasn't in love with Prince or Michael Jackson? Who wasn't? No matter what country he came from, he was a worldwide pop star.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, Amy. Amy, I brought my favourite coffee cup. Ready? Just for you.
I love
so
you.
Yeah, little bit. So Nikki Trench, do better. That bunny is pathetic.
That bunny is
And
scary.
I only bought you book for $2.
I think
it is scary.
That bunny
and it
is
looks
the
like
of Southern. Bless your heart. Like somebody makes
yeah.
that. Look what I made. You're like, oh, bless your heart.
Drunk Santa wasn't much better.
That's something.
She's
okay. Okay.
She's
Here's the opinion. All right, I'm asking for opinion. I watched a couple of these British documentaries, true crime documentaries, because I like them, because it's a different spin on, you know, how they do forensics and stuff. And this one woman, her 16-year-old daughter ended up getting murdered. But before that, she had gotten bullied in school and then got hooked on heroin. And she said when she found out she was on heroin, she asked her how she was paying for it. She said she was having sex for it. So she said, so I did the only thing I could do. I would go out on the streets and buy heroin for her to give to her so she wouldn't have to have sex. And I'm thinking, why couldn't you send her to rehab? Like, instead of, you know, like, why is the only thing you could do is go buy heroin to give to her? Why couldn't, there's so many other options. And this lady wasn't poor. She was, you know, well off. She could clearly, you know, have afforded to get medical help for her daughter. And I'm like, no, that's not the only thing you could have done. And then her daughter left because the heroin addiction that wasn't getting better because her mother was buying her heroin. Like,
I think that's called enabling.
So is there no
English? And then she ended and then she ended up getting, but I'm just like, if that was my child, the first thing that came to mind wouldn't be go out on the streets and buy drugs for her. It'd be like, what can I do to help her get off this?
It'd be rehab.
Addiction.
Which city was it?
Yeah.
Do you know the city?
No, I don't.
Because that would give me a clue as to why that might be the case.
I mean, damn, does your NHS not pay for rehab?
I'd be like, how the fuck can I run over her dealer and then reverse back over him again or her? I'd be like, how do I get rid of this asshole who's supplying the drugs to my child? That's where I'd be. I'd be eliminating that person off this planet, allegedly.
Yeah, but
he fell down the stairs 6 times.
And that isn't my boot mark in the back of his neck. No, Your Honour.
Hey, the
gravity is a natural cause, okay? Gravity's natural.
Yeah. Yes,
but you have to remember, though, Joe Bob, in this country, the justice system is all on the side of the criminals. So you would...
Yeah, but this was years. This was years ago. This was in like the 90s or 2000s. So...
If I took out somebody who's supplying heroin to young children, I'd be happily sitting in jail. Don't you worry. I have some very serious thoughts about drugs, Neil. I don't even like the girls and I've talked about it over the last 4 or 5 years. I don't even like those stupid. I can't say that because I don't want to be judgmental to my friends, but those of my friends who do their funny little gummy lollies and have to take their drugs, regular daily medication. I'm not into it, and I don't approve of it, and I don't support it. I support my friends. I don't support those kind of decisions. I'm very anti.
You'll be.
I'm anti-aspirin.
Cell block 8, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm ready for it because I'm anti-aspirin. I'm anti. If you can't be yourself around me and be your true, authentic self, I don't have time for it. I don't like drugs. Any drugs. Don't like it.
When I was in the military, I had like a breakdown, like to the point where they were like, okay, we're going to send you to psychologists. And I was like, okay, thanks. And, you know, I go and I talk to them and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, we want to give you this prescription. I was like, okay, well, let me, you know, can I read it? And so I read it and it said side effect may cause hallucinations. And I was like, let me get this straight. In your expert opinion, I'm having a mental breakdown. I'm stressed the fuck out. And now you want me to see things? Like,
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I declined the medication at the time, but because I did that when I had to go file for my disability, they're like, oh, you refused the pharmaceuticals, so we can't give you anything for this mental breakdown that you had 4 years ago. I was like, oh, thanks, that's great.
Wow.
So the lesson is take it, throw it down the toilet, and just don't tell them.
Yeah, take it. Don't take it, and then
In one of the dash cam videos I saw, they pulled the girl over, and they must have been hotboxing in the car. And because they pulled her over, she's speeding, like doing 70 and a 30. And the cop's like, I smell marijuana. She goes, I have a medical marijuana card. She's like, you do realize you can't smoke it while you're driving, right? That it doesn't mean that you're allowed to smoke and drive at the same time.
In a 30, no matter what.
She's like,
I don't want to be on the road with people coming at me who are high as fuck. No, thank you. I'd like to live for another day, please.
well, and then she kept having all these reasons that she couldn't do the roadside test because she did something to her foot, and then later on, oh, she has an eye problem and everything's very blurry. She can't see everything. Okay, then why the hell are you driving to begin with?
Right. You can't go
and then finally, and then finally the cop's like, and then she couldn't do it because of her bad knee. He goes, you said it was your foot, your toe earlier. No, it's my knee. I have this knee. And so she's walking and dragging her leg behind her, like her leg just hasn't been working for like the last 15 minutes when she's walked from the car. And he goes, I see you've got encarceritis. And she's like, what is that? Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, there was a guy that my husband worked with, and like walking definition of opiate addict. And it was interesting because I don't work in IT. Like this computer, the only reason it works is because somehow my husband like turned it on, right? Like not my thing. But there was like a company dinner thing, and I went and I met said person, and he was like, "What do you do?" It's like, "Well, I'm a teacher and I work in special ed, mostly teaching math, blah 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 blah." And he was like, "Okay, so what services do you use?" And I was like, "I don't understand the question." He's like, "What internet? What?" Start using technical terms, and I was like, "I teach. I talk about umbrellas and how they become roller coasters." And he was like, "Yeah, but what system do you use?" I was like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Right?
And it works.
Yeah, and I found out later that he had a really high premium for like his car insurance, and I was like, that sounds kind of weird. But my husband found out that the reason that the premium was so high was because he kept getting in accidents because he was high on opiates, and he was able to verify it because at one point my husband was stuck in like this long ass traffic thing, and he was like, man, whoever's on the other end of this, like I hope like Jesus is helping them, stuff like that, right? And then his phone rings, and then he gets a call from opiate guy, and he was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I got in an accident. I'm going to be late for work." And he was like, "It's better not be the guy I drove by." And there he was.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Why would you get in the car with him? Like you wouldn't. I wouldn't want anyone in my family to.
No,
it's crazy.
But yeah, no. His thing for opiates was like really, really intense. Like at one point, like he was going nuts at work. And he like was just having like that craving thing to the point where they like tried to help him find a doctor that would fill his prescription, but they were all saying no. And I was like, that's a sign that means something.
So, you have a problem.
Yeah. Thank the Sackler family for that.
Yeah, some of the people who are like 2 or 3 times drugged. The one in court, she's like, oh, she was on probation and they do the random drug testing, and she says, oh, well, I found out because I had a grilled cheese sandwich, it could do a false positive. And the judge is like, what now? And then it gets better. Oh, and the other times, it's because I was drinking energy drinks, and they have alcohol in them, and that made it do a false positive. And the judge is like, no. She's like, no. That's not how it works.
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese, yeah.
That's why it feels so good. It gives me like this dopey. That's the secret. That's why we all love grilled cheese. It just does that thing for us.
Right. She didn't even try poppy seed muffin. Like she just bypassed that and went to grilled cheese.
Yeah, and this one guy, he tested positive, and he said, they're out to get me. They keep thinking I'm positive, and I'm not. So I brought in my own tests, and I tested at the same time, and mine were negative. And they should take my test. And the judge is like, wow, that's not how this works. You don't bring in your own test. You do the government test. Well, they're out to get me because they all say they're positive. And he's like, well, clearly because you smoked something. He's like, sir, you cannot bring in your own tested home results. There's no, chain of custody in these that we can guarantee that it's you.
I have a friend who did drug court for a while, and she's like, she had some stories, and like there'd be people like, well, the good news is you passed your drug test, but the bad news is you're in menopause and you're a 25-year-old male. So they'd be like, so
they assumed his gender.
Doctors
are rude. That's Terrible.
Like, oh, well, congratulations, you failed your drug test because you faked it and you're pregnant.
Yeah, this one guy, he tested positive for marijuana and cocaine, and the attorney goes, but he has a medical marijuana card, and the judge goes, does he have a medical cocaine card?
We had
and the poor the public defender, they have to, with a straight face, defend these people. Yeah. And he's like, I'm just repeating what my client said, Judge.
We had when I was 60% of my stories start with I was drunk in this place, and then the rest of them were like this time in the military. But at one point when I was in the military, I was in charge of what we call the Gold Flow Award, which basically means I call you, ask to come see me, and I give you a piece of paper for drug testing, right? And I tried to call this one guy, and I was like, hey, I need you to come into my office like within an hour. I need you to sign some paperwork. And he's like, tell me what it is. And I was like, I can't tell you what it is. I just need you to come into the office and sign for it, please. And he's like, if you're not, telling me what it is, then I'm not coming in. I was like, there's not really a choice. You have to come in. And he hung up on me, right? And I was like, oh, and so that was like the one time I was like, wow, I've never been told like that before. And so I just called the cops after that, the MPs, and I was like, hey, can you go pick up this guy? He's refusing to come in for his Gold Flow Award. And they're like, we're on it, because they were like, oh yeah, we get to go do the thing, let's go. And so anyway, they brought the guy in, and his entire head was shaved off, like freshly shaved, right? And I was like,
oh
yeah,
like there's only one.
Yeah. And he was looking kind of smug about it, so I gave him his paperwork, and I was like, okay, they'll take you over there, thank you for coming in. And so then I called the center. I was like, hey, I just gave some paperwork to a dude that just shaved off all of his head, and they were like, we're on it. And I didn't know what happened after that, because he disappeared, right? But I actually ran into a tech that worked in there, and she remembered me, and she was like, oh yeah, he tested positive for cocaine. I was like, well, how were you able to verify that? And she was like, well, we told him to take his pants off, and we took a hair off his ass, and it came up positive for that. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Bro didn't wax his ass.
Touch your toes, buddy. Gonna pluck a butt hair off you and test it. Yep.
I thought they draw blood or something,
No, they just, because it's like the tree trunk thing, it's like, okay, you shaved off your head, so we'll take that hair somewhere else.
He would have got the tweezers up his nostrils and pulled his nose hairs out. Just watching get leaky eyes. That's funny. That is too funny.
Yeah, when I worked at this coffee shop, it was right next to a Quest testing center, so they do all their drug testing over there too. Mm-hmm. And I would have these girls that would come in, they're like, I've drank too much water and I have to do a test. And I was like, so do you need peanut butter? What do you need? And they would tell me, and they give me $1, and I'd let them have a couple spoons, and they go over. But because it's if you're too hydrated when you go in for drug testing,
won't test right, yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So you have to have some kind of protein in there.
What happens if you're dehydrated?
You're too hydrated, so nothing shows up on the test.
Oh, okay.
It's like a washout.
Yeah. I've seen that on the drug court ones too. And sometimes the judges are just like, I wasn't born yesterday, right? And they're like, no, really. I'm good. And this one judge, I love her to death. And everyone she tells who they want to go in deferred, probation. I'm going to test you today. And are you going to test positive? And you better tell me the truth now. Because if you don't, we're going to have problems later. And most of the time they lie. Oh, no, I'm going to be clean. Oh, no, just marijuana. And they come back, okay, you tested positive for meth. Well, it must have been from when I took it 3 weeks ago. No, that's not how it works. And the one guy tested positive for cocaine, and he said it's because the guys he was playing golf with probably got it on the golf balls, and he rubbed against the golf ball with his hand, and that's how it just busted.
And then he picked his nose, and it got.
She's like, you're a convicted felon. Why are you hanging out with people who do cocaine, for starters? And second of all, no.
Wow.
Oh no, I must have rubbed it on my shirt from the golf ball.
Okay.
She's like, do you guys normally snort cocaine while you're playing golf?
Oh, I bet that happens a lot. Yeah.
I bet that happens a lot.
I've never played golf, so I don't know.
You're not missing anything.
This one today, the guy had gotten picked up for he was stalking someone, but he also had another charge where he offered someone $20 for to be serviced by. And Tom's like, she got one on him for only offering $20 because that poor person is probably forced into that position and doesn't want to sell their sexual abilities to some jerk like him for $20. And then she was explaining to him about super gonorrhea, which has no cure. And so it's not like other STDs because there's no cure. She goes, and do you want to tell your grandma that you've got that?
Oh my God. I gotta watch this show.
It's on YouTube. Judge Boyd. I love her. She's in Texas, and she tries to be fair, and tries to give people things on probation that'll help them. And she'll be like, look, be honest with me about the drugs because I want to get you in a program that will help you with that. Don't lie to me and then come back when you failed your probation because you don't want to go back to jail because now you have a drug problem, which we could have helped you with beforehand. And like she goes off on the people who deserve it. And then she tries to help the people who, screw up but want to do better.
Oh, he made it in Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
He's going to be tired when he gets back.
Yeah. And get up and go to work tomorrow.
Oh, no. But yeah, it's interesting watching the different judges.
Emma in the Moment.
No.
No.
I don't have time to watch her.
Are you ready for this?
Give us the highlights.
So make sure you sat down. She criticized a black woman.
She's racist.
Absolutely.
That's her privilege.
Depends on which black woman it was, because there's levels of that in the Indian community.
It was Felicia Eve.
Well, everyone criticizes her. That's allowed now.
And she stole some of my research and didn't credit me.
Of course she did.
Have you commented that on her video and told her
What's
to
that?
cite her sources? Have you not commented on her video and told her to cite her sources?
Oh, she'll just take it down.
I did do an Instagram post about it, though.
Man, I do know the last time I saw her, she's looking kind of rough.
Yeah.
It's not like she's a happy person. She doesn't look like a happy person.
No, she doesn't.
She shaved her hair off, so maybe she was just about to have a drug test somewhere. Who knows? But,
nice call.
I think she's deliberately going for the heroin chic look, isn't she? I think she's actually aiming to look like that.
Yeah, but isn't she like going to school to be a professional concert singer?
Yeah, I think so.
Usually they have certain.
Singer, isn't she?
Yeah, usually they have certain, want to look certain ways.
Expectations.
I suppose they'd just wear wigs, though, wouldn't they? I suppose.
Yeah.
Shaved off her hair for some milestone of subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Green for a minute, and then she realised she just looked like a snot ball, so it's gone back to the natural colour now. Or
if it worked, it worked.
I'll shave my head, the top of my head, when I get 1,000 followers on YouTube.
Wow, that's such a promise, Neil.
Thing with you until you bend over and touch your toes, Neil. We've got to find.
Say that again, Joe. Say that again.
I said we might have to do the drug thing and get you to bend over and touch your toes and find a hairier spot to shave.
Oh, from the neck down, I'm hairy. You don't have to look hard, trust me.
Okay.
This has gone off on a tangent we did not expect once again.
I think I would like to vote
and yet we should have expected it.
I would like to propose the motion that Neil does not shave his beard.
I agree.
I wouldn't be able to recognize him. He would be a doppelganger, and I would have to delete him. So no.
Well, it would take 20 years off me. That for one thing.
But I love beard. Like when I know a person with a beard and they shave their beard, I'm like, I don't know who you are anymore. Like you need to go
I don't
away.
know.
It's wrong, isn't it? There's something really wrong about.
I don't know. Ben Affleck shaved his beard and he looks like 30 years younger.
Yeah.
Some people look really good with a beard and others don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just assuming I look good.
She looks horrible. That lady with a beard, I saw on YouTube. There's a lady with a beard and she's like looking for a date. And she wears
Is
a
she a
little
Sikh?
Oh, I saw her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying how feminine she is at home and she really wants
She can't understand why she can't. Yeah.
Feminine. She can't understand why she can't get a boyfriend.
Beard might have something to do with it.
She might shave a beard.
I mean, I'm a little jealous the guys get to have a beard and cover up their job with the hut chins, but
triple chins.
Well, before I grew a beard, I didn't have one, but now I suspect there is one underneath there somewhere. There's something there.
Oh my goodness.
So what else trouble has Emma in the moment caused? Hey, Tab.
I think that's about it for the time being. She's still not done a show about me.
I think she's afraid to do a show about you because you'll call her out. She doesn't.
Maybe that was the show about you because she took your research.
Yeah.
Think about it. She doesn't feature anyone who's going to respond or call her out. And
well, what's really
you have so.
About it.
Did you see the one where she did a really gentle one with those two women? I can't remember what they were doing now. Was it cross stitch? I don't know what it was. But basically, it was so sweet and lovely. And she even invited them both on to talk about it afterwards. And it's like, well, where was DK and Anne's invite? When she did that one on them.
She was too busy mispronouncing Anne's name.
The ceramic one was really lame too, with the cups. The ceramic one with the influencer. That was really lame as well, low-key.
Oh, is that what it was, the cups? Yeah, it was something. It wasn't knitting, was it? It was something. Were they Australian?
Yeah. Because she's got an
Australian
friend who's a knitter. So she's getting a little bit of research from her Australian friend who's a creative person. Jess Crickets.
Strawberry cup, yes.
See, Emma might realise that, she thinks she's clever to be able to find out all this information about people, but she probably realises now I can do exactly the same. And I could already find out stuff about Emma.
You don't want Joe Bob looking. Joe Bob.
Yeah,
we know Joe Bob.
You don't want to know.
Hospital, I can find anything.
Yeah, Joe Bob and I should set up a detective agency, shouldn't we?
You should.
Yeah, I'm really good at that too.
Funny.
Oh, Kara doesn't know this. So last summer, my husband was in the hospital, and I'm on the way home from visiting him at night, and he calls me up and he's like, "So I got a phone call from your friend." I'm like, "What?" "I got a friend from your Australian friend. She somehow figured out what hospital he was in, what room he was at, whatever. And they had, they had a lovely chat." Well,
right before his surgery, I gave him a call. Yeah, I just wanted to give him a call and wish him all the best for his surgery. I like that.
That's crazy. Yeah,
she was gonna drag me into it for her recon, but she didn't need me.
No.
Yeah, you Americans, you need to petition your government to come lock down your data. Because I'm not joking. I don't know why it's so open. The Chinese could know everything about all of you. Seriously.
My life is an open book. I don't care.
I know.
Australia's very hot on that, though, aren't they? They don't let you have any information, do they?
Well, they made it kind of fashionable and trendy for us to overshare everything that we were doing. There was a guy who was a sociologist, and he did a social experiment, and he wisely informed the police before he did it because he didn't want bad things to happen to him. But what he did was he went to a public area and just typed in the name of a restaurant or a store or something and just kind of searched through all of the stuff on Instagram that was going on. And he picked one person who was taking a picture of herself outside of it. And, you know, she's like, I'm here in the store with my friend. I'm going to have a good time. Right. And he was like, let's find out about her. And so he went through her feed and read her stuff and then walked in there. And he was like, hey, used her name. I heard that you were looking for a dress for your friend at, you know, the wedding that you're going to next week. And, you know, I know you thought that green was going to actually be your color, but purple looks way better on you. And I wanted to recommend this dress to you. And she was just like, what the fuck? Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pretend to be psychics, Joe.
Actually, I had a niece who was on her mission during quarantine. And since they could not go door to door, that's what they were doing. They were stalking people on social media and posting on their social media account, pretending that they were friends of somebody that they were friends with, so that they could get in, you know, so that they could interact with people. And it's really kind of creepy. And
cool.
They learned how to break the Facebook algorithm.
That's what the MLMs do all the time.
Yeah. So she was not a fan. She was not a fan of that part, and that's part of the reasons. One of the issues she has with the church. But like they were having them call people, and she'd call people, and the area she was in was hugely Catholic, and she knew, you know, these people were not going to change the religion to become LDS. So she would just be like, hey, I understand that, you know, I'm not here to try to change any your beliefs. Do you want to pray with me? And usually they'd say a prayer and it'd be all good. And then she got yelled at because her numbers never went up, because she never actually had any, because she did not like the way that they were going about it, and the, you know, but yeah, they learned how to break the Facebook algorithm to stalk people.
But Neil is right. It's not just social media stuff, like our property information, everything.
Oh yeah, that's all in there.
Oh yeah.
Taxes, your donations, your education.
It's scary. It's scary. Like,
it's easy to find.
I don't want to talk too much about work, but we have a couple crazy people that like to threaten to show up and then make a sound somewhere in the background. So every time, you know, one of those videos comes out, like me and two other people, it's like, okay, let's see what everything we can find out to go give to the detective. And like literally within an hour, I have like their last 7 years of work history. I know exactly where they live. I know what car they drive. I can tell you what restaurant they went to that day. And it's just like, there was one guy who gave me trouble because he is, I'm pretty sure he's bipolar. And one of the things I found all 16 of his online pseudonyms, and I gave those to the detective as well. So that one took me a little while to figure out. But and public record is actually scary in some ways, because there was a guy who I was talking to, and he got an illegal altercation with somebody that likes to stir shit in my part of the world. And so, you know, it's one thing when people are like, oh yeah, and this happened in court and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go read the transcript. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, court transcripts are public record. I'll just go read and see what the judge said. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, we like to record.
I'm not going to give any names away, but there's a certain person who likes to do lots of fundraising, shall we say. You know, very generous person in the knitting world. And this person, I'm sure there's something dodgy going on, because they used to have two properties. And now the husband has a property and the wife has a property, but neither of them owns a property together. And this is a new thing. And it just makes me think, what's that about? It might be completely innocent, but does it mean anything?
Yeah, if his income is less than hers,
So it's something to do with tax, is it?
Taxes and
maybe
property tax.
Although filing separately when you're married is usually
maybe
not.
He owns a building that she's renting. Maybe he owns it and she's renting it for her business purposes, which would be a tax break, wouldn't it, or a tax write-off?
And are they legally?
Makes sense.
If they're not legally married, then they
have the same they use the same last name.
Doesn't mean they're legally married.
I'm not. I know. I'm just saying. That's all I know. You know.
Yeah. And every state has different rules about homestead exemption of what you can claim or not claim for your value of your home that you don't get taxed on. So.
Yeah, I could write you a receipt for your business name. I don't have to write it in your personal name, and then you go to your tax agent and you claim that back as your business. Doesn't matter who owns it.
We all know that there's people in the knitting world that we're suspicious of. because of their
She's not
history.
right. She's not as smart as she
Allegedly.
thinks she is.
Of money.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
She? Did I say it was a she?
You did not say.
They.
Oh, I did. I did. So
Yeah, they, a
sue me.
non-binary. They is a non-binary.
Implying there is a binary.
Statistically
Yeah, the fact
speaking,
that there's a non-binary means there's a binary, doesn't it? I love that.
Well, I don't know. The knitting world seems to have been backed off the mob rule, where people are being a little bit more circumspect before they go jump on people the way they used to.
Have I just not been noticing it, or is there not drama?
Either it's not, I'm just not noticing it, but it just seems like it's calmed down a whole bunch.
Like
people who are,
the sock obsession thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's just a little off sometimes.
And that kind of
what's that, Tara?
It's not as common as it used to be, and it's, from what I've noticed, it's more of like, certain people eating their own.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do enjoy that when they go after their own, the people that they used to defend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's because we just generally don't give a damn and they just rat their?
Well, it's like DK says, you can only be canceled if you allow yourself to be canceled. If you just keep doing, there's nothing they can do. And too many times they've gone after people now who just ignore it and keep going.
Yeah,
so they have no power.
Yeah.
And there have been some situations where there was pushback. If you remember, like Leanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a group of guys on a stream on Saturday night, and we were talking about the different conversations that are evolving on Twitter. And I mean, Twitter is its own special place. But one thing that we kind of, so like before it was like if you weren't saying the narrative, right, like you got, kicked off the platform, silenced, everything, right? And now that it's in the hands of somebody who's kind of like, I don't care, you all can say what you want. Now these people are all being exposed to different thoughts and opinions. Some of them are actually having conversations, some of them are not. It really depends. But before, when they were all kind of only exposed to like one element of a conversation, therefore that's all they knew. Now, like more of the counter is showing up, and so I think that's giving some folks some pause, and that's making. I'm hoping that some folks are doing due diligence. Either that, or they're just kind of like, I'm tired of this shit, and I'm just gonna go make a sweater now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's.
I agree with that.
A lot of them.
I haven't got very far in this, but knitting wars were already mentioned.
Ooh.
What?
Carrie did this book for her book club, and I haven't finished it yet. You see it?
Oh, okay.
And knitting wars is in it.
All the wars are in it, but like already
the
10 pages they started. He mentioned already. Oh gosh, what was the lady that started it all?
Karen Templar.
Oh. Yeah, Karen Templar. And then I'm pretty sure politically incorrect knitters and other people are mentioning it because Carrie said something about that, but maybe it was just that little blurb of the knitting wars. But I mean,
is there an index at the back?
No, but the bottom has all the citations. So as soon as I find it, I'll.
Interesting.
Because I mean, I'm only like 16 pages in.
Which now means we need to set up DK and Anne, politically incorrect knitters, with their own Wikipedia page. Because because now they've been in a book, that means they can be on there because it's an independent source of
If I find it actually listing them, I will. Yeah.
Yeah. Because a certain yarn dyer we all know, has their own Wikipedia page that says wonderful things about her.
Well,
wonderful.
Anyone can edit the Wikipedia page, so
absolutely.
When we have that get together.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
I think
like
when we all get together and the yarn and the alcohol is flowing, we can come up with suggestions for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff is also quieted down because, well, one, the whole Ravelry webpage redesign helped.
That helped a lot.
I think that helped a lot. And like at the end of the day, karma's a bitch. And Sunshine
that burst their little bubble.
Yeah, it burst the bubble, but people are starting to see through, certain dyers and how they've been getting away with all kinds of stuff. And more people are being turned off by that.
Well, I think in general, too, a lot of people realized that they were way better off before this current president was in office. And as much as they were Trump bashers and hated Trump, for a lot of ways, financially especially, they were in a lot better shape before. And I think that's affected him. Like even The Rock said he regrets endorsing Biden because of financial reasons and other reasons. So if even celebrities are coming out saying it, you got to figure there's a lot of normal people who will never admit it publicly, but they feel like, hey, I was way better off financially 4 years ago.
I wonder how many people also, because it all kind of got rolled up in the same time of COVID. And, anybody that questions the vaccine or questions masks, you're just a Trumper. I wonder now, looking back, how many people are like, yeah, they were right.
I didn't want to get the vaccine because one of my friends got it and she had a seizure.
Oh, no.
And but nobody wanted to talk about that. They were just kind of like, oh yeah, you need to get it to keep people safe. And I was like, maybe not. No.
And our death rates are still way above the average at the moment, and they're not explaining why.
Yeah.
And it's young people.
Yeah. Yep. And although, what is it they say? Correlation isn't causation. It all does seem to have a coincidental time frame.
But we can't figure out what's correlation because we don't actually study it properly. So you don't actually.
Well, that's intentional.
Like the CDC really shot themselves in the foot, like so many different ways. I remember when I read out about the first, I can't remember where it was in Wu, but it was like the lab in Wu, and which now they're kind of like, we never said that. And I was like, I literally have citations that you said it, right? But they came out and originally like the CDC was just kind of like, oh, you know what? It's a seasonal thing. You guys don't have to worry about it. And, springtime came, we still had it. And then it was like, okay, well, only people with autoimmune issues are going to have problems. People perfectly healthy got it and had problems. And they're like, well, children are never going to get it. Children got it. Babies got it. Right. And then it was like, okay, well, once you have it one time, you'll never get it again. My friend who works in a group home, he's gotten it 7 times.
Right.
And he's had the shots. Right. So what I'm really getting at is every time the CDC has come out with an absolute statement, like literally within like hours, it's proven wrong. And that's really scary when you think about like when something like hits the fan, like that needs to be like our reliable source to go to for what we need to do. And we can't do that. They went and shut down this one doctor's practice because he said, hey, if you guys like have like a vitamin C shot that's going to help your immune system, will help you fight off the COVID. And they're like, nope, you can't say that now. You can't practice anymore. And it was like,
a lot
they
of
did that in Michigan.
Michigan.
Gretchen Whitmer sent out letters to physicians, including one of my husband's physicians, and said, you may not prescribe certain, therapeutics, or we'll shut you down. We'll take your license.
Well, hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. They've now been
there's another
exonerated, haven't they?
Yeah, now they've changed it on their website saying
out loud?
Yeah, because they changed it on their website saying that it does help. And proloxin, the Moderna medicine that's supposed to prevent it, they've come out recently and said, oh yeah, it doesn't do anything.
Have you all been keeping an eye on the World Health Organization thing that all the countries are signing up to?
Oh, cool.
Because it's now, isn't it? It's around now that they're signing up to it.
Usually. Yeah.
So expect something to distract us all, something big. Yeah. So I think earthquakes are going to be the thing because there was the one in New York, wasn't there? So I think there's going to be a big.
Well, that wasn't really.
Well, there were a lot last week.
Sorry, say that again, Tara.
There were a lot of earthquakes last week.
Because of the eclipse.
Well, I know.
No,
there was
the end of the world.
York, Taiwan, Japan, Guam.
Yeah.
I think Myanmar.
Yeah.
And then there were smoke rings coming out of Mount Etna.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Well, the news is
another ship.
Yeah, the news is always going to spin it a certain way. Like, not to go back on the COVID conversation, but like one of the guys I work with, he used to work in a hospital, and in the media, they like to, make it look like the hospitals were just full of people that were getting treated for COVID and all this other stuff. And he said they've sent us home early every day for a month because there was nothing to do. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with Neil that there's always some kind of smoke screen that's going on. So anytime there's some kind of like big political brouhaha that's going on, I'm like, okay, so what else is going on? Because we had 1 year.
Whatever they want you to look at, look somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, another ship almost hit one of the bridges in New York.
Sure. Princess Kate will die. That's what's going to
happen. Leave her alone. Leave the woman alone.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think they're going to announce it because it will be
worldwide
news.
Neil, if they were going to say, if she had been dead, they never would have said she was taking preventive chemo. They would have said she's taking chemo,
Of course they would.
I think they would know all the treatments and know how to pretend. I'm not saying she is dead, but it would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
No. Really? Good grief, Neil.
Her kids have been going to school. Her kids were going to school up until 2 weeks ago. There's no way those kids could have kept it secret if their mom was dead. Come on.
Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know. Don't forget they're royal. They're lizards.
Listen. She might be bald soon. You need to make her a lovely soft hat to wear, Neil.
I will.
Be calm.
I will.
So there's 7 of us. Is there anybody here who has not had the coof yet, besides me?
I think I had it at the end of last year, but I don't know. So I've never been tested.
I had it once.
I had it.
So I didn't.
Yeah, I had it once.
I had it once.
I had it once, but we never tested the second time, so I don't know.
I got it from the airport, which I was really upset about because they made me social distance the entire time in the airport, but then they scrammed me into the airplane like a can of sardines, and like 5 people wouldn't stop coughing. So I was like, "What are we doing?" Like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it after I was allowed to go back to the office because I was banned for a while, and I wasn't sure if I was going to lose my job.
Yeah,
and and I was finally allowed back after everyone who was in the office got the coof over the holidays. Like, it was bad.
And they were all vaccinated to be in the office?
Yes. And then they all got sick.
Yeah.
Everyone I know that had the vax got COVID more than once.
Not me. I had the vax. I had the 2 vax and I had 1 booster, Neil, and I've not had it yet. And
you live in Australia, in the middle of nowhere.
All the time. My kids have had it. All 3 of my kids have had it. My husband had the worst reaction. I mean, it's been years, and his legs are still purple. His whole body went purple, like he'd been run over by a truck. He had his abdomen. Yes. And I made him go to the hospital and to the doctor, and they misdiagnosed him with diabetes, which he then went and bought all the monitors and tested because he had purple and yellow skin. And years later, here are his legs still purple. And he was furious with me for convincing him that he should go and have it. Not that I did. It was the kids I was mostly worried about, because if they didn't come with me and have it at the they had a pop-up centre full of military. So I had a lovely Navy nurse guy do mine. I had said to my kids, I had researched whatever and said, look, I'm going tomorrow to this pop-up thing at the local hall. You can either come with me so that we can be there together in case you have an adverse reaction, or when the schools open back up, you will be made to line up. I will not be allowed on the property because the schools were locked down to parents. And you will go by yourself and get that vaccination because they'll force it. You'll not be able to go back to school unless you have it. And that's the way things were. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I know the ladies know, you were not allowed in a shop if you weren't vaccinated. So I was meeting strangers on the street who were peering through the glass windows and offering to go and purchase what they wanted for them. because I had been vaccinated and they hadn't been. They were not allowed entry into these stores.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, it was
my
terrible.
My son got the
I
vax.
lined up and went and got the vax, and the very first one, hubby came with me and the kids came with me, and hubby was so ill. He was so sick, and we didn't know. I first realised because his shirt had sort of lifted up. You know how you get the lovely eyeball of a tradie's crack sometimes. If your clothes, your jeans slip down, your shirt rides up. And I was shocked because he was purple. He was like an eggplant purple, and he didn't realise it. But of course, he felt so unwell. He'd not stripped down and, got naked in front of a mirror. He felt like shite, and he was purple. And to this day, his legs are still purple. Still purple.
So does that indicate bad circulation then? So is it like thrombosis type thing?
No, he's had all tests done. He's had blood tests done. He's had x-rays and scans. They've given him steroid cream. Nothing is working. This is the reaction he had to that injection. Nothing has worked over the last 4 years. Nothing.
Have you reported? I know it's pointless, but have you reported it to whatever your
the government medical body
or whatever?
Yeah, because that's why I made him go to the hospital and to the GP, because I wanted it reported as an adverse reaction. They've not done anything. Who cares? You get the coof now. Nobody cares. Go to work. Nobody cares. Go to school.
My son got the vax early, like when it first came out, because he needed it for school and other things, and he had heart palpitations for months. So he never went back and got the second. He never went back and got the second one or the booster.
No, and I had to get mine because I worked for a caregiving agency, so it was like one of those like you work with a vulnerable population situations, right?
Yeah.
And I remember after I got mine, I must have had like a brain fog for like probably 4 months, right? And it that's really concerning to me as a writer, because like the one nightmare thing that we always worry about is like when we don't have our faculties, right? So the fact that I was struggling to keep up with stuff, I started to treat myself like a dementia patient, where I was like doing puzzles every day and crosswords. Like I was trying to get my brain back, because I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is not good.
You don't want to end up like Stephen King,
No.
My one of my good friends is a writer, a local indie writer, and she told me afterwards. She's like, I heard you in my head while it was happening. She's like, and I wish I'd have listened to you, because she purposely didn't tell me until after, because I'm the OG anti-vaxxer, and she immediately after had numbness. Like she had numbness, tingling. She couldn't move her arm. She had to go get PT and all kinds of stuff. And she's a writer, she types and writes all day, literally. So it was like debilitated. She couldn't even turn the steering wheel to get home. Like she wasn't sure how she could get home. And it took a long time for her to recuperate from that. So
I like how they make you sign a waiver. They make you sign a waiver saying like, you might get fucked up, but it's not our fault. I'm like,
right.
I think the reason why I've never got it is because as an army brat for 20 years, I've been jabbed and punched with every needle and vaccination you can imagine, especially going overseas, being born overseas in Asia and then coming back here. I would have had every childhood, deadly disease vaccination ever. And then living in New Guinea, I had all these vaccinations. I think I'm like the dogs, like, the veterinary laws are changing. I'm like a dog, right? I'm going to just say I don't give a shit. But we're on the whole, majority of Australians are vaccinating their dogs annually, every single year. And yet studies have shown in the UK that it's that very first vaccination at 6 weeks. They don't need any more. That shit is still in their system when they are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So protocols have actually changed over the last few years, where some people now vaccinate their dogs every second year or third year, because they know after doing titer tests, blood tests, that those chemicals are still in their system. So for me, the protocol that I might use for the dogs would be 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and then not again till 18 months. And then you do one again 3 years later when they are 5 years old, and then if they're still alive when they're 8 years old, do another one and then leave them alone.
So you're telling me that they figured out dogs don't need as many vaccines, but humans
dogs
need them all.
don't need them, but they give humans exactly. So I think as a child in dog years, I'm doing okay because I think I've had all the vaccinations that anybody ever needed. And I really honestly think that's why, even though I'm out there, I at home with my COVID kids, living in a tin shed with no space, personal space, in the car with the kid who had COVID the very next day, tested positive, son kissing me goodnight every night, giving me a hug, sitting in the car with him every day, and he had COVID. I couldn't catch a thing for trying. Like, when I do, it'll be a party and we'll all celebrate.
My husband got it. My daughter and I got it. We were really sick, but he wasn't. Like, he didn't have any symptoms. And it's maybe that's true because when he went to Desert Storm, they got so many vaccinations when they went over to the Middle East. You know, it could be that's why he didn't get it so bad.
Against malaria.
Yeah, but like
I think it's vitamin D. I think if you've got good levels of vitamin D, you won't.
I think that too.
I think that's probably something to do with it. There's got to be something to do with it because my boss, he's not military, but he had whatever, he's 65 years old. So he had whatever vaccines ended when he was like 4 or whatever. So, but he's got his flu shot, whatever. But he's got everyone and every booster, and he's never gotten COVID as far as we know.
No.
So there's got to be something genetically different with some people that why they get it, why they get it so bad. What's
super specimen.
There's got to be
something. I'm going to go on about vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely vital for every part of your body, but it's also vital for your immune system. So if you don't have enough vitamin D in your system, which I don't know about you in your sun-drenched countries, but I know in Europe we don't have enough vitamin D.
I'm in Michigan now. Yeah.
So you have to take it. You really do have to take it.
We have plenty. Joe has
David and I got it just after New Year's 2021. And he was in bed for a week. And he didn't have any, he wasn't coughing, he wasn't doing anything else, but he was just dead tired. I was up, I was knitting, I was watching stuff, I was cooking, little bit we cooked. And I think it's because I was on massive doses of D3 for seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
I was taking massive amounts. And I think that might have had something to do with it.
And you have to take a lot because I've been taking it for quite a few years now. And I got quite bad flu last year. And I was like, why have I got it? And then I realized that because I'm overweight, I need to take at least double what an ordinary person would take because it gets stored in your fat instead of in your body.
It's true. She's
God, Joe, what?
No, I don't want to take away from anybody who really suffered. I mean, a lot of people lost families, and I'm still traumatized by watching what happened in Italy during the bulk of that pandemic. But I remember our Lizzie here, upstairs from me here, was very, very unwell with her cough that lingered and lingered and lingered, and she had a hard time overcoming that. That
I coughed a long time.
And then I was so worried sick for you for a long time. And then our other dear Lizzie friend, who hopefully will be in the chat watching or listening one day, remember she had no taste, no smell, couldn't, nothing.
I
didn't have taste. Yeah.
We didn't have taste and smell for weeks.
Weeks and weeks.
I lost taste for months.
I think it affected my allergies because my seasonal allergies are worse now than they were before.
Mine got better.
My sinuses,
mine was weird because I could have sworn I had strep throat because I had the high fever and I had the sore throat. And I was like, oh, well,
that's what I had
strep before. I know what that's like. And I went in to urgent care and I was like, I think I have strep throat. And then they tested me for strep, flu, and COVID. And I only had the coof.
No
strep, no nothing. But this was like back in late spring of 2022. And so they actually gave me the proper drugs.
I remember that.
Yeah, because remember my husband got it like July of 20 and he was bad off. But again,
he was sick.
I was bad.
He does have a man flu and so I don't, but I'm gonna take his word for it. And I had the same
Don't get me onto that.
But because he like even moved, like he did not want to move. I had to make him get up and move. And I remember other Liz was like, okay, he needs to move because he needs to get the you know his lungs moving. So I'd make him move and I'd make him get up, but he didn't want to drink water. That was the weirdest thing. Like he's like, water tastes gross. So I had to give him like lemonade or something like that. But I took care of him for a week, and my boss freaked out, made me stay home from work for 2 extra weeks, and I never caught it from him. I didn't catch it till like a year or something later, maybe more. I don't remember. And I don't think Eli ever caught it. Harrison caught it like once, hardly anything. It was like a little cold.
Yeah, the whole staying home thing, like we got it. My son had been sick the week before my daughter and I got it, but he didn't get tested. And then he was fine when we got it. And then when we got tested positive, he had to stay home from work for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Unpaid.
Yeah. And honestly, and this is my humble opinion, honestly, I think the whole staying home and the lockdown and the separating just made things worse.
Yeah. People weren't experiencing it.
I agree.
We didn't all get together and we didn't all share it with each other, because the more it spreads, the lesser it gets, strong. So I taught pre-K. I mean, a horrible virus would go through and everybody would get it and be done with it and over it. You know?
But remember,
and I would also
not just the physical illness.
That they was wrong.
Remember how concerned I was, Ames, when Jack wouldn't get out of a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would go to town and he refused to get out of the car.
Yeah.
That went on for almost 12 months.
Because if you think about what did they always tell us when we were a kid? Get some sunshine, get some rest, get fresh air, eat your chicken soup,
water.
And drink your water. That's what helps you get rid of viruses, which is what this is. So we stayed in our rooms. We didn't go out in the sun. We didn't have any contact. We probably didn't eat that great because restaurant. It was harder to get groceries and restaurants and things that we needed. So a whole lot of things made things way worse than they needed to be.
Well, what got me is the parents who would lock their children away in their rooms when they were sick. Like, my kids are sick. They're out in the rest of the house, and I take care of them. And, if they go in their rooms because they want to be in their rooms, that's fine. But we never isolated a 6-year-old.
I isolated vomit has no place in my house.
Well, vomit's different.
No vomit.
I couldn't do that to my cat. I don't know about a human. I could not isolate my cat.
Yeah.
I mean, linking it back to knitting, there's another, there's a well-known knitting dyer, yarn dyer. She did that with her daughter, didn't she? And I just thought it was absolutely appalling.
Okay, you figure the kids got to be scared as it is from everything they're hearing, and then they're
going to think they're going to die.
And their parents aren't there to give them hugs. And I'm sorry, when my kids were little, they wanted to lay on me when they were sick.
Yes,
they wanted that contact. And
what kind of a parent though allows their child to suffer in fear of them catching it? You know what I mean? It's kind of
gross.
No, we all
I caught everything my kids brought home from school, because that's what happens. They go to school and they catch everything, and then everyone in the family gets it, and then you're done.
I mean, I get it if you have like a really elderly grandmother or a medically fragile child also lives in the house, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about regular, healthy, normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
Can we change the subject and get back to knitting bitches, if you don't mind?
Always.
How's Pirate? I've missed Pirate for last week. How's Pirate going?
Same old Pirate.
What's happening? Yeah, what's happening?
For a while.
He's planning his fantasy football league for next year.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Is he moving home? Have we got a knitting retreat happening in the UK?
That depends on who you are, because he said certain people were allowed to be in the house and certain people weren't. So it depends on the day of the week.
The ones that aren't house trained.
I've been good in dog years. I've been good.
Well, I got an invite. Me and Annie both got an invite to go whenever we want. So
really, Yorkshire.
Oh my God! Can you take pictures of you and Annie knitting while he's sitting there staring at you? And just
we have something planned. We do
okay,
have something planned.
You can send them privately to us so that they're not public. But
No,
that would be awesome.
We're going to do a live stream.
Oh, awesome!
It's going to be a while. It's not going to be anytime soon. It's going to be quite a few months. But we have got it all worked out. All we've got to work out now is when we're all free to be able to meet in the middle. You see, because Pirate lives directly in the middle of Annie and myself, so it's kind of almost equal distance.
Because he might have to drive over an hour. You know?
Oh no!
Yeah, it will be over an hour. Yeah.
Then it's an overnight stay for sure. How many hours did your husband drive, Amy? There and back, and the same day, and yet he's getting up and going to work tomorrow?
He's left at 6 p.m., got there at 1:45. So what is that? So almost 8 hours to get there, and then longer to come back.
Hang on. You guys in America and Australia, you can go into cruise control and sleep while you're driving. Your roads just go
there's too many cars on the road to do that.
Yeah, don't worry about all the cattle and the sheep and the kangaroos on the road. Don't worry about that.
It's not.
Yeah, Neil, I don't think you understand how driving works in the U.S. because, there's like lots of people in this country and they're on the roads.
Well, when I watch the movies, it's always just dirt tracks in the middle of nowhere through the Rocky Mountains or through the outback
Texas,
of Australia.
Yeah. He did tell me he must have drove through Arkansas a little bit. He must have.
I think he would have needed to.
Yeah. So he said there's Arkansas is very flat. That was his.
It is.
That side because it's like on the river. Yeah. It's on the Mississippi River. So it's like the river floodplain. Mm-hmm. Not where I am.
What happened to your Punxsutawney dude who said spring was happening?
He's a liar.
Shocking weather.
It's having springs here already, where I am.
Wow.
My weather does what it wants. So.
It'll be in the 90s by the end of
finally
this
have
month where I am.
It will
more
be
than likely. Probably, yeah.
Oh. All I've seen is storms and rain over the East Coast. Miserable weather. How's it going? You are, Therese. You got a t-shirt on?
Yeah, but I'm in the house. Today was actually nice. Today was like 62. But this is like now we're starting to get
some nicer days.
But before this, it's been awful. And not even like bitterly cold, just like bleh, just bleh.
This is my what the forecast. It's 70 degrees right now at 7:43 at night. Not a bad night to stay inside and binge watch that highly predictable crime drama that you love. I love it.
It knows us so well.
So what's the temperature there now?
Right now, 70.
It's 50 here.
Which is
69 here.
Look, it lets me just push the button and change it.
It's 69
here. 57 here.
What is it in Celsius?
And it will be 82.
10.
It'll be 82 on Monday.
Mine says if this weather was ice cream, it would be cherry butthole surprise. Might be delicious or not, the verdict is still out.
I love that.
Okay.
I can't check mine because I'm using the phone as the camera.
I love that.
I know mine is 18 degrees today Celsius with rain coming again. See all the rain we've had?
14 right now.
14. So we're a little bit warmer than you then. Yeah.
57. Okay, but it's also, it's also 8:45, so
yeah,
it's okay.
It's almost 2 in the morning here, so makes sense.
Yeah, it's 74
savings
Fahrenheit,
so it's 11:15 now. So Neil, what time is it there with the daylight savings changes? You should have
to 2.
Oh golly, still disgusting. Okay.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 weeks where it was really good, where you guys were an hour earlier than we are.
Yeah.
But now it's back to middle of the night.
Did you hear our president is ordering NASA to determine what the time zones are on the moon?
For all all the people that live on
can't
the moon?
spell.
Oh,
So somebody,
Joe, now you're
yes,
here.
somebody asked. Yes, somebody asked
you're
about the different time changes.
Yeah, in Australia, the half-hour time zones.
Yeah, for South
It's
Australia.
true, isn't it? Because I told these guys a few weeks ago, and
yeah, it's true. So there's hour changes like up north to us and then down south. And then my dad is 3 hours behind us. So it's 11:15 now. So he's 3 hours behind us. He's just getting up in the morning. And the reason why, so you mentioned it a couple of podcasts ago when I wasn't here. And the reason is that after World War II, some bright spark decided to take it to Parliament, to government, to do the daylight savings so that we could have these longer days to work our farms and have more sunlight during the summer. So that's why the daylight savings came about after World War II. You know, we went through a big depression. We needed more sunlight hours. We worked longer and we worked harder. Now we don't do that.
Here. Yeah.
Where when you cross the border, it's literally 2 hours difference at a certain
3 hours between. There's 3 hours difference between coast to coast with me and my dad.
But two states together, you know, bordering each other, at a certain point in the year, there's a 2 hour difference, isn't there? So you could literally step over and move time 2 hours. Wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna use that Great Spark thing.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so yes, you go into the other state, and you're 2 hours different. Or I fly over to dad and it'll be 3 hours difference. Yeah.
So is your dad in Western Australia?
Yeah, dad's born and bred in Western Australia.
Oh, is he Outback or Perth or Fremantle or where?
Oh yeah, no, I don't mind saying. Dad's from a little town that's about 4 to 4.5 hours drive north of Perth in Geraldton. And our ancestors, the ones that I want reparations for, came to Western Australia. William Campbell came to Western Australia on a convict ship. He was a baker in Glasgow. Excuse me. He was a baker. He was a working man, a young man, 5'4", a little fella. And he was put on a ship to come to Australia as a convict. So I'd like to go back to Scotland, please, because I didn't ask to be here.
Right. So you really would rather be in Scotland than where you are now.
Are you
I'm sure somebody is willing to swap places.
Yes.
You can come and live in the north of England. I'll swap places with you.
Oh, my goodness. We had little baby frogs in the house the other night. There you go. No big, wild, scary animals. Tiny, tiny little, not even half an inch, quarter of an inch frogs. And I didn't know what they were till the cat showed me. It's been raining so much. These tiny little baby frogs came into the house and were hopping around. They must have been twins or something, these two.
They're bound to be poisonous in Australia, aren't they? They're going to kill everyone by one touch, aren't they?
I did sanitize my hands afterwards because they're a bit slimy. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, you can come and live with the snakes and the goannas that are taller than you and me. Yeah, you go right ahead. It's scary.
If I ever did, I would either live in Tasmania or in Western Australia because they were two favourite places.
Tasmania's
we
beautiful.
Talked about Tasmania.
Yeah.
The only place I wouldn't live is a place called Port Hedland in Western Australia.
Port Hedland.
It was a shithole. It was
very
horrible.
Hot. Plus, it's got Nevada's weather in the summertime. It's a shocker.
And it had some really weird nuclear building. It wasn't nuclear, but I don't know what it was. It was very industrial and horrible. And everywhere it was just orange, red dust everywhere. You literally were covered in it. It was horrible.
Well, you wouldn't like a lot of America.
Yeah, a lot of the southern states have.
The only thing we get covered in here is rain. So, you know, that's what we get.
Well, we could give you all of it. We could give you the rain, the red mud, the dirt, the mountains, the beach, the cold, the wet, the warm. What do you want, Neo?
We've got a lot of pollen right now.
Yeah, we have tons of pollen.
Yeah, no humidity. Can't be doing with humidity.
Well, then you can't.
I have the dry heat. I have the dry heat.
Oh, do you? In Nevada?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Las Vegas is becoming even more tempting now. I didn't want to go there, but now I'm thinking.
Sure, it'll be like 120 in this. It'll be 120 in the summer.
Yeah.
You can figure that out and stuff. Yeah. Everything's air conditioned though. It's really not as bad because everything's air conditioned. Like all the buildings, all the cars, everything's air conditioned because you have to have it to survive. So it's as long as you're drinking water.
In Australia, it's not.
Well, that's different.
Come to Louisiana.
I don't like air conditioning. I can't sleep in it. I can't breathe in it. You get Legionnaires.
120 degrees.
I'm in a motel room. The air conditioning's off. Just open a window, close a window. I don't like air conditioning on me.
That doesn't work in 120 degree weather, Joe.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Put a fan on. No. I don't like air conditioning one bit. I don't. It's gross.
Oh,
I love air
Well, when I come over, I want air conditioning on all the time, please.
Yeah, and we have screens on our windows too to keep the bugs out when we do
Even
have
if
the
it's
windows
Christmas Day, it's going to be too hot for me over there. I know it. Not that I'm planning to come on Christmas Day.
Hey, I had snow one year on Christmas Day.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was this
In Louisiana.
Yes.
It's called frost.
This was
Called a frost. Snow. They called it snow. It was a bit of a frost from the humidity of the grass.
It was
all the condensation.
We made little teeny tiny snowmen.
No, but one time there was so much snow. It was like around Christmas. There was so much snow on Galveston Beach that someone built these snowmen and it made the front page of the paper.
It does happen.
We've had snow a couple times in Las Vegas. It never lasts the day.
No.
Got a leaf outside. Sorry about the noise. I feel like the grocery girls. Someone's got a leaf blower out front there because the leaves are falling off the trees.
Just pretend you're Jody and yell at them.
Speaking of them, who have they been bullying this week?
Dog barking.
So, Carol, what are you going to knit with your new yarn?
Or crochet.
Sorry.
I don't know. Probably another shawl.
You don't have to know.
There is nothing wrong with making another shawl because shawls are great.
Yes.
Shawls are good. I'm going to do a review on a shawl that's currently blocking on the motel kitchen counter. I'm going to do a review on the shawl that I just made for Blocked magazine. Watch out for it. You know I'm going to tell the truth, right? No Mrs. Nice Guy here.
Is it Tabitha's? Is it Tabitha's?
Is it a murder knits? Because there's some murder knits. That could be a...
No.
I've decided that I'm only going to review paid patterns. So any pattern that I've had to buy in a book or singularly, anything that I've had to pay for, I'm only going to review paid patterns.
You do realise after this first month, so the first one she does, and it gets published, you do realise the month after, everybody's going to be giving their patterns away for free. Nobody's going to be charging for any patterns in case you review.
Right. If I pay for it, you're going to hear about it, right? I'm going to do a very honest review.
What I'm hearing is that Joe needs to pay Tabitha because she's giving away murder knit shawls at the time, and Joe refuses to knit it. That
where is Morgan?
What if it's
where is Morgan?
Working.
She had to work with Morgan because she's like double dog dared me or something to do that bloody knit shawl. And then Annie started one. I think Annie started one. It's like
she did. It is.
Well, she'll frock. It's boring. It's boring.
It's almost like it's an easy, convenient pattern to make or something. I don't know.
Boring as batshit. I never know.
Can't you just do a slip stitch colour work pattern in it and do the same pattern?
Yeah.
Just do a simple slip stitch.
You can add stuff to it.
I'll redesign it, rude words on it.
I made mine with ribbing and lace and
How creative. So it's really the Amy pattern, not the murder knits pattern.
I put eyelets on mine. See?
I've done eyelets.
Dead boring.
I've done it in stockinette. I've done it in garter. Yeah.
Speaking of patterns, Dale, I'm working on my pattern for this month's issue.
Oh, cool.
No, you're just trying to make me look bad. Trying to get Caro to make one. Morgie's going to do one. Annie's doing one. Who else? You know what?
You could
do
don't look at the colours, but you could do this pattern on a murder knit.
Yeah.
It's just a dead simple slip. Oh, what are you doing, All-Star? Come on. He's trying to destroy
Carol.
So that'd work on a murder.
Jackie did one in crochet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Shawl, don't recommend it.
So Neil, can I just send you a chart and then just the instructions be cast on, follow the chart and find off? Will that work?
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that then. I'm halfway through reknitting it, so.
Joe won't do it though, because Joe doesn't like charts, do you, Joe?
It's color work though.
Oh yeah, color work, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's some cables, but not really.
Yeah, I'll do it. It has to be interesting. I like color work charts if they're not too tiny for blind old ladies to read.
I hate charts.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but if it's written and charted, I'm all for it.
Well,
what's the next theme after Arms? What's the theme after Bear?
Heroes, right?
Heroes.
Huh? Heroes.
Interpret it in anything you like.
Oh, so you're going to put Anne on the cover, I heard. Stuff Tabitha. She's already had overexposure.
Well, funnily enough, somebody sent me some photos today. I won't say who, but someone sent me some photos that might go on the cover.
Oh, lovely.
If it's the photo really? I think you got, it's awesome.
You know, heroes is another slang for sandwich, so extra points if somebody.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's true. A hero sandwich. Yep, we used to
say. Also a box of sweet chocolates.
Well, I
somebody knit a sandwich. That would work.
Oh boy.
Yeah, boy.
Banana
boy.
There you go.
Forgot to put my stitch marker in for my short rows.
Uh-oh.
That's fine. I figured out where it was.
Look, I made it to the end. Now I could.
You only have to count to 10 or 11. You should be all right.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I'm almost done with section 2, the first wedge almost. So,
hey,
am I supposed to? I got this little bit that's hanging out on the end. Is that supposed to be there? Because it's okay. All right, just making sure.
You know that really hideous cheap yarn in North America called Premier Yarns?
I've heard of them.
Just saying.
I've never heard them described that way, but okay.
But you know the brand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
I saw on one of their labels for this ordinary acrylic nothing yarn that it has been standardized, it's got the tick that it's been tested that it does not contain 350 plus toxic substances. And I'm thinking, what's the company? Ecotex or Ecotex in Germany? Have you ever read the labels on those cheap yarns, like acrylic yarn? It's been coloured, it's been highly processed, it's plastic, and yet it has this tick on it. Where is it? I'll get it. And it says that it's been tested against 350 toxic substances that it doesn't contain. And I'm like, how many toxic substances are there in the world? And what processes will it go through to be tested against 350 of them? Like, what kind of wild claim is that by a company? Let me see if I've got labels
to the others.
When they say that, like, potatoes are gluten-free. And I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock.
Well, no shit, yeah.
My favorite is when you buy a bag of peanuts and it says on it may contain peanuts.
May contain peanuts.
Bloody hope it does.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah, but it probably has like 500 other toxic chemicals that they didn't test for on purpose.
I saw it in charity store, and it wasn't the full cake of yarn. It was just a little bit, like 20 grams, and I still brought it home because it says here, tested and approved against 350 plus harmful substances. So that's their claim. That is their claim.
Right. I think we need to research this, Joe. I think we need to find out more about that.
So when you go to Premier, well, yes, please, because I want to know. Inquiring minds are asking. When you go to premieryarns.com, they say that all of the yarn is tested by this Eco-Tex company, OEKO, whatever. It's a German, European-based company. What the heck? It's like a $5 ball of freaking acrylic, but it's been tested and approved against what are the 350 harmful substances in the world that acrylic needs to be tested against to make sure I don't die. But by the way, I've been jabbed with some shit that we don't know is going to kill me, or I might die suddenly. So I want to know why
every other acrylic has all these 300 things in them.
And and are there more than 300? Does it mean that they're not free from the other ones that aren't?
Here's my proof. It's on the, hang on, unicorn. It's on the label, 350 plus.
Now I'm
there
going
it
to look.
is.
I think I have that on my Premier.
Please look.
Wow. I don't think I have any Premier.
I do somewhere.
Well, I don't. It says 100% anti-pilling acrylic, which I thought was interesting. And honestly, it's just a little nugget of like 20 grams of yarn. And it was $2. And I thought, I'm bringing this home with me because I really want to know and research and ask Neil, words.
Yeah. What's the yarn called? So it's Premier Yarns, but what is it?
Premier Yarns, anti-pilling DK colors batik.
Anti-pilling. Okay, let's have a look.
Yep.
That's very popular
anti-pilling
right
every
now.
day. Is it the worsted one or the DK one?
It does.
DK on the label, DK. I want to know what the heck are these compounds and harmful substances in our life that a bloody ball of cheap, nasty acrylic, that's allegedly my description of it. And it was kind of cute because it's unicorn colours. So I wish I did have a cake of it, but
I'm
no.
just
what is your
pasting
in?
I'm just pasting in what it says on the label, Liz, if you want to put it on.
Okay.
Put it on the screen.
I don't see it. I don't see a thing.
What does that one say?
It should be in the comments.
Oh, in the comments? Okay, in the private chat?
Look.
So it says
no, it's in the comments.
No, in the main chat.
Oh, how cute is that, Amy? Even though
that, okay.
There you go. Yeah, so that's what it says. So you're right, Joe. It's 350 harmful substances to keep you and your family safe. Well, are they in other acrylics? That's the thing. Is nobody? The other ones not.
And are there other substances? Like, are there more than 300 substances? Is it only free of those 300? Like,
what are we testing?
Or are they testing for random things like viper venom and scorpion venom?
Well, yeah, it's probably stuff that will never be in acrylic yarn because it's just not in it. But it has
like saying,
we're not testing
the other chemicals.
Now, Joe,
so I could say this ball of wool that I'm going to sell you doesn't have COVID in it.
Or no, it's like saying, "Oh, here's this ball of wool, and there's no alpaca in it." Well, this is sheep's wool.
Can I have it cheaper? Can I have it cheaper, please? I don't want to pay $5 for it. I want to pay $1.50 for it, and don't worry about testing it. I'm all good.
Joe, does yours say made in Turkey? Does it say made in Turkey?
Yes, and all Premier yarns, all Premier yarns are made in Turkey.
So is a lot of Hobby Lobby, and so is this mandala. Yep. This mandala is made in Turkey, and it doesn't say that.
Yes, it is.
Is the mandala like
referring to? Can I start referring to acrylic yarn as dinosaur fiber?
Can you start?
Since it's made.
Mandala is like
Turkey. Yep.
Yep. So I want to know.
Meanwhile, we don't give a shit what's in our food.
I literally just got this today, and I did not know this. I literally
You still put that red dye in your food, don't you? What is it? Which one? Red.
Red 40.
Number 5.
40. Spots.
That's cute, though. That is cute. Is that the watermelon one?
Yeah.
What shop did you buy that from?
Hobby. No.
Oh,
Hirschner's.
how cute.
No, I'm lying. Hirschner's. They had 1 cent sale.
Hirschner's?
Oh, I missed that.
1 cent shipping.
Yeah, I didn't get in.
Because they also do the willow yarn. So I wanted to get more willow yarn.
Okay.
I've never
Can I just show you this yarn?
I
am
know
a
what
convert now
tested
to Rowan felted tweed. I didn't understand what all the fuss was about, and now I do. Now I understand it, and I feel like this is all I need forever. I don't think I need the yarn.
Yeah, I've never had that before.
I am definitely going to dye a yarn snob because I have decided even my superwash wool now doesn't do it for me anymore. I just want to use pure wool. Moving forward, I just want to use pure wool. It just feels so damn good to knit.
Well, that Jameson's, I bought that big cone, that massive big cone of Jameson's.
Oh, yeah. I did look it up, yeah.
I've been crocheting. It's the same one we got all the stuff for the vests. It's I can't remember what fawn, I think the colour was.
Yeah, who's even knitting that?
I've been crocheting a thing for my mum with it, and I tell you what, again, like this felted tweed, it is one of the nicest things I've ever worked with. But it's not that it's soft, because it's not soft. No. There's something about it that just makes it dead easy to work with.
The structure of it, it's really lovely. Yeah, really lovely. So now I'm just going to turn into a yarn snob in my old cranky lady days. Highly recommend.
Are you not in those already?
I've got 1 foot in. I've got 1 foot in at the moment.
BS has a message for you, Joe.
I have some USA wool Joe would love. Oh, BS, do you? I do love. I mean, I've got Sweet Mountain Crafts wool. It's lovely. It's plump. It's so plumpy. And then I've got. Oh, I put it back over there. The beautiful cardinal fingering that Lynn did from Chicken Lady Fibre Arts. I do have some nice USA wools yarns. Yeah.
Oh, did you see Annie's video where she talked about wee county yarns? I think they were called.
Yes, those little tiny little yarn balls. They're adorable.
Well, they're new to me, so I'm going to start buying from them. But has nobody come up with the idea of doing mohair, mini mohairs?
Oh, like the row ones, the row one yarns.
Oh, do they do that?
I'd love that.
Do they do mohair?
I don't know if they do mohair.
Different dollars.
Like 5 grams of mohair or whatever, because I think they would sell like. Well, you're not going to need 10 grams of a mohair, are you? For the same as a.
Yeah, I always feel ripped off. I like 20-gram minis. I don't like anything.
Here you go.
Mohair's about 25 grams anyway.
Oh. Said Red Heart Super Saver had the same message on it.
Huh. This is like the diversity crap in Marvel and Disney. There's one company doing all this guarantees and
I bet they're charging a fortune for that little certificate that tells them it's free. Yeah.
Give me a ball of pure wool, make it cheaper, not test it. I don't care if it's got lamb shit on it. I don't need it to be tested against all these harmful substances. What's it got? A bit of Roundup from the farmers weeding? Who cares?
What's the
tomorrow?
What's the name of the eco text? What does it say? Anything after it? I just put mine up. Does it say like what? Like, because they have eco text, made in green, standard 100.
Who are you asking?
I don't know.
No, Joe.
Are you asking us?
You'd have to look up Premier Yarns or the brands. Like somebody else said, there's other brands using the same guarantee. So what? All this acrylic has been sent over to Germany to be tested after they dye it. The label's cardboard. What else is it? Is it laminated? Oh, yeah, it's glossy. So what's a harmful substance in the label? Anybody? I don't like shiny paper. I know there's chemicals on it.
Too bad the magazine didn't have like a video edition where Joe could rant.
If you want to check if an Ecotech label is official, enter the label number below and it'll tell you if it's a legitimate label. What's your label number?
Ooh, heck. Well, that's true too, because all the copies out there in the world. I mean, this says made in China,
if it's truly
Turkey, whatever.
It would
no,
have
it doesn't have.
QR.
Actually, to be honest with you, this label does not even say the company who tested it. I went to the website to find out.
That's what it should say.
No. Okay. Fake news. I'm just curious. What are these harmful substances that we need to test a bit of shitty plastic acrylic wool? What is it? Tell me what's killing me now in my yarn stash, and I'll throw all the acrylic out.
Don't know.
Don't know. How ridiculous. Okay, just saying, the price of acrylics have gone up. They're not cheap anymore because we're paying all these companies to give their tick of approval.
Yeah, some are as dear, if not dearer, than wool, which I find bizarre.
Bizarre, right? Bizarro. Yeah.
Although the process of making it is clearly more involved than sheep wool, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like,
it has to be plastic.
So it's actually standard 100 that they use. So why that makes it 350 things, I don't know.
You would think that's 100 substances.
You would think that's 100 things.
I want to know about this substance abuse in acrylic yarn. 50 pounds.
So it says that means the article is harmless to human health. Every thread, button, or accessory has been tested against the list of over 1,000 harmful substances.
1,000?
The more intensive the skin contact, the stricter the human ecology requirements laboratory tests.
How did we survive before this?
And we use globally standardized test criteria, and the certification complies with international requirements and regulations, and we review our limit values for harmful substances at least once a year.
Wow, give me a job with that company.
This sounds like a money grab to me.
And why do they do it? Because the compliance with global regulations and
government.
CPS.
There it is.
Is the World Health Organization in there anywhere?
The REACH Directive, the Child Protective Safety Initiative Act. God, I remember when that came out. That was such a headache. Man, I fought that thing. And you could have a GMO check. It might be a GMO, not have GMOs.
Yeah.
Fine answers to your question.
I'm pretty sure there's
those
not.
might be genetically modified dinosaur fibers.
Yeah, I was going to say, because is there really, human growth hormone and all that in
but I still
dinosaurs?
haven't found what chemicals are, so hold on.
Is
aren't they about to
reintroduce
reintroduce mammoths into the world?
I hope they don't.
No, I think they are. I think it's a plan.
What is going on with the acrylic world? I need to know.
I wonder when this started.
Yeah, nobody's
somebody
taking.
Thought there was money to be made, probably.
The childhood one was like 2010, because I remember it was a big deal for people on Etsy because you had to make your products CPSIA certified, and it was a huge deal. A lot of us had to stop because you had to prove your fabrics, and you had to and to get certified, you had to send them something. They had to destroy it, and then you got the certification. Well, if you were a one of a kind creator, you're destroying your products. It was a big deal. Big
yeah, deal. That's just crazy.
How long has the Ecotech company been in existence?
That I don't know. I'm still trying to find out what the chemical.
It's like nobody reads the labels anymore, and I just happened to glance over it and thought it was quirky and a bit bizarre, so I wasted $2 to bring that information to you for a little bucket of acrylic.
That sounds like an article for Block that needs to happen.
I know.
Well, I'm thinking that. I think there's something in this.
Thank you. I do too. I really would like some answers about what these harmful compounds are.
And I have an idea of who to contact.
Oh, good.
So there's a woman in the UK who is standing for Parliament, but her role in the, like they do little shadow government roles in the parties that haven't been elected. Her thing is about wool and agriculture. And she's been chasing the British Wool Board recently to try and find out stuff about them. But I'm going to email this to her and ask her what she knows about it and see if she can tell us more. But I'm also going to email Red Heart as well and find out.
Are there any actual wool companies who have these labels on for wool?
Ask them for a list. Ask them a list of those 320 compounds that they tested against.
Okay, I found some.
What?
Okay, they have different levels of this. So, like, if it's for a baby, then there's direct skin contact, and there's not direct skin contact. So, I'm going to guess that the yarn should at least be direct skin contact, if not baby level.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, this list is, and I'm not reading all of this, but I'll save it for you, Neil, is formaldehyde, heavy metals. Hold up.
Wait a minute. Isn't this the stuff that...
Hold up.
Okay, nope.
Hold up. We checking for heavy metals in our yarn, but not in our vaccines.
What?
Isn't formaldehyde in Diet Coke?
Amy, don't be reasonable.
Okay. So formaldehyde, arsenic, barium, cadmium, cobalt, chromium, copper.
Blue.
I assure you there's no copper in your yarn.
Mordant. Copper's a mordant in yarn dyeing. Yeah.
Well, I'm in big trouble because I got a whole warehouse full of copper at work, so I better not go lick it. Mercury, nickel, lead. I don't even know what that word is. Selenium, more arsenic, more mercury, more lead. Glyphosate. I'm sorry, isn't that
That's what. Yeah.
Roundup?
It's in your food. It's in your food.
And pesticides. So all those things are okay to be in your vaccines and your food and your drugs.
But not in your yarn.
But not your yarn.
Not in your acrylic yarn. Come on, let's get technical. I haven't seen a wool label yet that says this. I want to find a pure wool.
Yeah.
Or a mixed
I bet it'll come.
I can't even pronounce 90% of these words. So.
Okay, but they're dangerous compounds.
They're chemicals.
Against skin.
Carcinogen. You know what I'm trying to say.
Carcinogenic.
Carcinogens. Yeah.
Lefty Crochets and Mirror Knit says petroleum byproducts and something used to process same. I don't understand the last bit. But...
Petroleum, isn't that just plastics then? But
petroleum is oil.
Oil. Yeah.
Oil.
But isn't that what acrylic's made from?
Yes.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm just going to have to be an advocate and activist for pure wool, I think.
So, by the way, I just want you to
it's not giving me no thoughts. I don't want those chemicals.
It's not free of these things. It just is under a certain parts per million. Not free.
Wow.
I don't understand the genetically modified part of the thing because,
Didn't they find out during the coof period that there was melamine in the baby formulas coming out of the bat country? Didn't they have that? Was proven here in Australia, and we had a huge shortage, and people were stealing stuff and sending it back to bat country to their relatives. They were purchasing it here. There were limits on how many cans or tins of powdered milk formula you could buy. And they were sending it back. They had garages full of this stuff, and they were sending it back in containers to bat country. That's the kind of crap they're putting in their baby formula. What are they putting in your acrylic yarn?
I don't know, but I have to go. So sorry, I was trying to find a segue to do that.
Oh, well, thank you for coming.
Thanks,
Kara.
It's good to see you.
Yeah,
you're always welcome.
Good to
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good to see you. She's lovely.
All right, Neil, I'm emailing
crazy.
to you.
Wow, we've been on almost 2.5 hours. This is long for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go shortly.
Neil's going to fall asleep at his chair.
Can you write this off as
Oh,
work meeting?
I meant to ask Caro, before she's got, I'll talk about her now she's gone. I watched one of Caro's her own show, but don't ask me what the name of it is. I can't remember at the moment. But she does this really interesting thing where she has a 20-minute timer every one of them, and the idea is that you're supposed to finish something or work on something for 20 minutes. I just think it's a brilliant idea for knitting or crochet, you know, for our finished objects. So we should start doing that somewhere. I don't know on which one, but
I still want to do our knit-a-thon to raise money for charity.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got to figure this out.
That'll be epic.
Yeah, I don't want to use the timer. I don't see anything wrong with staying up till 3 and 4 in the morning with your eyeballs hanging out of your head just because you want to do the next row and the next row.
What if you need to go to the toilet? What happens then?
You do. Oh, hey.
I will
you do a potato. You do what the smashed potato does, and you wear incontinence diapers.
My friend, you may know her if you like crochet. Her crochet name was Just Be Happy Crochet. She's been around for a long time. My friend Alessandra, she is in the Guinness Book of World Records for crocheting the longest amount of time.
Really?
And I want to say it was like 36 hours or something like that.
Oh,
so
wow.
she had.
Have you seen Engineering Knits? She's trying to break a record, isn't she? She's going to be running while she's knitting or something.
Oh, geez. So they told her like she had parameters of like, okay, you had this amount of time to get up and go to the bathroom, but you had to have like somebody with you and witness how long you were there, and somebody had to witness you the whole time. So her husband and her kids and friends were her witnesses. So you pretty much only got to go to the bathroom. That's it. They brought you your food, but you had to eat in between. Like you had to keep crochet, you know. I think she did like 30.
If I didn't have to wear a bra, as long as you could be braless and just kick back, I could.
Let me see if I can find her thing.
She has a channel. What's the name of it?
She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but I think you can still find her pattern. She has books. Just Be Happy Crochet.
Just Be Happy. Okay.
Well,
let's see if I can find her.
I'll have to check her out.
She's really, really sweet. She's actually from Brazil, and she lives in the West. And she came down to visit me, and we toured New Orleans one time.
Oh, neat.
Nice.
She's brave.
All right, she did 34 hours and 7 minutes.
Wow.
34 hours.
It's like what we used to do, a skate-a-thon.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Think about it. Someone's got to bring you food. You get to sit down, sit back, put your feet up, be surrounded by all the yarn. God, Tabitha could do 340 hours.
She said her daughter would feed her snacks and water, coffee, or energy drinks through a straw.
Who's going to get Tommy sandwiches?
Well, he's a modern man. He'll work it out.
So
he'll work it out.
That's what she made.
Just so you know, we're coming up on. We've been doing these Monday nights for more than 10 months now. You know.
Wow.
We're coming up on our year.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
but we've
can
been
you believe it?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you need to have an anniversary special.
We could. How would we do? What would we do to make it different?
Would you host a charity?
Okay.
Oh, she's determined.
Sure, you're gonna get your sister.
Other people to do things.
You're gonna get your sister on, because if you get your sister on with us, it might be worth it.
Oh Lord. Yeah,
she can't even get her on her.
I can get our time slot. Be like Sunday at 1:00. That's our time slot. I can get her on.
I insulted her cardigan. Right, come on.
BS wants to know if you need a ball winder, Joe.
I have one at home. Thank you, darling. I have a Swift and a ball winder at home. So I didn't bring them with me. I brought my steamer and my blocking mats and my pins to block the shawl. But no, I don't mind sitting here having a chat to the girls and balling up balls. And look, I've got Musselburgh number 3 on the go, and here's my ball inside. Can't do that with a cake. So yeah,
24-hour knit night.
This 24-hour thing could be done, but you don't have to do it on the same channel. So all you have to do is work out where everybody is in the world. But obviously, Joe and us in Europe are going to be at
like the content house, but doing it, from our different places.
This is a thing now.
So you find out who's up first.
They
do an hour. Then one of our friends does another hour on their own channel.
Right. I thought it would be cool to be like, and you like say like, okay, I'm in for 3 hours, and people sponsor me, and you sponsoring me by your, and if I make it, you're donating X amount to my charity. And then
someone's going to have to coordinate all the time zones and all of that.
Right. Yeah. Coordinate the time. We don't all have to be on each other's the whole time.
Yeah.
No, but the problem is, are we all going to donate to one charity? Because otherwise,
different ones like my time.
Do your own.
Or you get yarn donated to you from dyers and you auction them while you're doing your stint to raise funds.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can have auctions while you're knitting on, and the person who pledges the most money for that skein could have it mailed to them, unless they live in another country.
Oh, we could do it like QVC, couldn't we? And actually show the yarn and see who gets the most sales.
And Anne said something. I didn't understand her thing, but
Anne is already working on Shark Week, so
I think it's doable. But yeah, we have to coordinate time and
maybe something later in the summer.
It needs to be a time where everybody's like not, like a holiday weekend where people aren't holidaying with family. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those random
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Your mother-in-law's birthday or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Memorial Day, Labor Day, something like those.
Yeah.
Mine was lovely, and she passed away last week when you podcast. That was my wedding anniversary on the 1st of April. 8 years.
Oh,
8 years David's put up with me. Thank you. Deserves a medal. I know. I thought that was funny that you podcast on that day and I couldn't make it, but that's not the reason why I couldn't make it. We weren't doing any sex time stuff. We were just, busy. So that's my eighth.
You need to know about the asexual day of visibility then, Joe.
No.
It's coming up soon.
He did buy me a pair of socks that had rainbows on it, but I forgot to pack them. Sorry. He did. He gave me, the chocolates, the wine, and the socks with the rainbows on it. I thought that was very cute. And those are like rainbows. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We should probably let Neil go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm falling asleep now.
Yeah. I need to get going too. It's 6:30.
Good to see you again. Bye-bye,
Thanks everybody for coming.
Neil.
Thanks,
Bye,
Tara.
Neil.
Thanks, Tara. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for coming. Love you, Joe. Love you, Trace.
You missed you, Tara.
Thanks for coming.